Unclicked with Ryan Williams, RWilly.
Let's go.
And Rue, the house hippo.
We've had a lot of legends on this, but I think that you are the most famous action sports person to be on this podcast.
Damn.
I think
that's
so.
intense.
It's pretty crazy title to put on someone, but I think I was with like Jaden Mucha and he's like, wow, that's like the most famous person on two wheels. I was like, I think you might be the most famous person on two wheels in the world right
There's
now.
some heavy quotes about you. Pastrana calls you the most gifted action sports athlete of all time or in the world.
That was a trip.
So,
I think it was on the movie. That was like, when I heard that, I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like someone sent it to me before it came out. One of the people that worked at Nitro, and I'm like, what is going on?
Does that have to be in there? I don't want that title. That's too much power.
That's a high pedestal.
Yeah, there's other people you can definitely compare, but your name would get brought up in that. And when someone was saying, like, I was like, I think Jaden or maybe Jonas or something was like, he probably gets more autographs or has to sign more autographs than anybody else. And I was like, maybe like Nija or Travis Pastrana.
Yeah.
You know, like you're up there.
Thanks, dude. No, I appreciate it.
And what's awesome is that you do sign them.
Yeah.
I've seen you go so far out of your way to sign them.
Yeah, it's super important to me. I mean, I literally can memorize the first time Travis Pastrana like gave me a high five. And it was like at my first Nitro show, all he did was give me a high five. And in my brain, I was like, I can just visualize it perfectly. And all it was a high five from him. Mm-hmm. So it's like, for me, if someone needs a photo or like an autograph, it's like, what is that to me?
Yeah,
it could be something so much to someone else.
It's such a moment for somebody else. That's cool.
And I'm just a normal person. People always think like they meet someone, they think that they're gonna be like something like not a normal person, but I just rode my bike and I did pretty good on it, and I feel like I've just got like opportunities, and I just did good in the opportunities that got given to me, and that's kind of what brought me to where I am.
Yeah, I think that's why that fact that I said it's like a crazy compliment, but I wanted to like let the record state, because you are just such a normal person. As we go on with this podcast, you just talking to you for like 20 minutes. You're just such a normal guy, and you definitely don't have any sort of like ego or anything.
Thanks, dude.
Well, we were talking out front, and I said that, he's him all the time. Like he doesn't have a YouTube voice. He doesn't have like a YouTube persona. Like he really is him all the time. Whether it's, just showing up and he's like halfway through a coffee and stuff like that. Like it's always
which is just kicking in. I feel.
Is there an
RWilly podcast?
Is there an RWilly?
Like
in the sense of like, do you sometimes are you like, I'm kind of RWilly right now? Like,
in that way, I would say that like if I'm hungover and like people have paid to come see me do a show or like be me, at a Nitro Circus show, then I'm not going to be like what I am. Like I'm going to be like, oh yeah, like I'm stoked, like I'm excited, and like you got to just put on like the brave face of like people pay to come see you, so you're like, I want to be stoked, and I am stoked. But I'm hungover still.
Like if it wasn't work, you'd be sleeping. Just relaxing.
I'd be in bed like just.
That's a good point. Yeah. The one time he's hungover, that's when he's gonna be an actor.
Yeah,
that
is a little bit of a.
But then it could be like that person's only time they met you, and then if they meet you and you're just like,
yeah,
like, oh damn,
I know.
Like, I don't want to, because that's the ones that sting the most. Is like if I ever see a comment and they're like, I met you here and like you were like, you seemed like you wanted to be somewhere else, and I'm like, dude, when was that? Please, I'm so sorry. Like, how can I make it up to you? I'm always like, feel so bad if I have like a negative, not like a negative, not like a up to my kind of par, like hanging out with someone, which is like what I normally am doing.
That's cool of you to care though, because a lot of people don't care. Like they're hungover. They're like, get away from me.
Yeah, I know, and like
that's
kind of how you feel. But I think to me, it's really important to like hang out with people and make them stoked, because that's what people did for me, and that's what made me so stoked on action sports and like being like trying to be like a pro in action sports. And so if I can do that for someone else, then
hell yeah,
how sick is that? Like 10 years down the track, someone's like, yeah, dude, Willie just like slapped me up at the skate park, and now I'm doing this. Like
just like
10
your
years
story
later,
with
I'm
Travis.
and then I'm like, oh, sick.
Yeah. Just
That's
like
right.
you with Travis Pastrana.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you remember that forever, and now you are that kind of guy.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, full circle.
Yeah, hell yeah. So did you start riding or scootering first?
So it's funny. I actually started. So I watched like X Games and like I think it's the Ultimate X movie. It's like an X Games movie.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I remember I was just like, I want to go to the skate park. Like, what can I go to the skate park on? All I had was rollerblades. And it was like Kmart. I don't know the equivalent here it is here, but like
Kmart,
like
yeah.
$20 rollerblades. And I'm like, sick. And I'd just go down to the skate park. My mom would go to take me down, and I was just falling on my butt. And then I'm like, this is what I want to do, because like that's all I had. And then I rollerbladed for like, I think like 4 years or something, and I was like literally just by myself. I would be the only rollerblader at the skate park because like no one rollerbladed.
Yeah.
But I was like, this is so sick. Like, and I would just hang out and like do the same tricks as the bike riders, and then and the scooter riders.
Was there scooter riders already?
Yeah,
How old are
there
you?
was. I was.
Sorry
It would have been. I know I bought my first bike when I was 2008.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
wow.
How old are
Okay.
you?
We the People 4 Seasons, I think it was.
Yeah.
Wow.
Are you-
I'm 28.
Okay. So when was this? Then you started in 2008?
Oh, maybe it was.
No, I
I
mean,
20 years ago, 8 years ago,
16 years ago.
16 years ago.
Yeah, 28.
Yeah, and I guess in Australia too, even the first time when I went in like 2010, scootering was already huge.
Yeah.
Because I remember
Yeah.
coming back home and being like, there's like no scooters at the park, but over
Yeah.
there it was like huge.
Yeah, no, it was pretty big. Like, it wasn't. It would definitely like kicked off. I rode the first wave of like. That's
Okay.
why I could do like so many tricks on scooter that weren't done yet, because like I was kind of like at the start of it when like I think the first flare, like first double flip was done when I like started riding. Maybe just like half a year into it or something. But yeah, I was riding rollerblades. But I'd race BMX though, because my mum was like, she raced BMX and she was like number 2 in Queensland. Like
Your
my
mom?
state. Yeah.
Wow.
My mum's crazier than me.
Huh.
Legit. Crazier than me.
I should get her on the Nitro Circus ramp. Just like-
She's hit my rant.
What?
Yeah, on
No
a trike.
way.
She did it the other day.
What?
On the trike the other day.
I got to
Yeah,
catch up
yeah.
more on your channel.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this.
No, Steve-O was there.
Oh,
and-
that was a Steve-O episode.
Yeah, and Steve-O wouldn't, like, he was like not about it, because it, like last time he rode a ramp, he broke his collarbone or something. So he's like not about it. And I'm like, man, even my mum did it. And then I'm like, Mum, you got to do it. And Mum's 50. Oh, geez, I got it wrong. 52 years old.
Damn.
I think. And then, yeah, and she was just like, all right, I'll do it. And she's like, all right, I'll do it. And then she gets the helmet on, because she had already done it like 2 years ago, but on this sketchy ass trike after like 3 beers or whatever. She just sent it. And then I'm like, the other day, I'm like, yeah, Mum, do it. Like, so that Travis will do it. And then she's like, yeah, I'll do it. Goes up, puts the full face helmet on, and she's sitting there on like the trike. And she like started crying because she was so scared.
Oh.
But then she just did it. She's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
And
wild.
Steve-O,
I love how
Steve-O was still not about it?
Nah, he wasn't.
Oh,
He-
my
You
God.
got stories for days. Did you start riding or
This was like
scootering
3
first?
weeks
And
ago.
then this
Yeah.
epic story came from that.
Where was I?
No,
She
it's okay.
She raced BMX.
Wow, yeah, what?
And then she was like really good, and she started like when she was young, she did it, and then she started again when I started doing it, which was like same time. I was like maybe when I was like 10, 11.
Okay.
And then she started doing it. She was like best in Southeast Queensland, like in like the
At that
20s.
age, when she started
Yeah,
taking you as a
like-
kid.
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, when I was racing.
So she was like 35 expert or something.
Yeah.
At
Yeah,
that time.
that's
Damn.
Yeah, she
amazing.
was kicking butt. So that's kind of where I think I got it from. But anyway, I was doing that, and then I was also rollerblading, and then I just found myself like at the skate park, and I would like borrow people's shoes, because I would only rollerblade. I didn't need shoes at the skate park.
You rollerblade to the park?
Yeah, and then I was like, oh, but I was the only one doing it, and then I'm like, oh, I want to like ride a scooter. I want to try a bike. So I would borrow people's shoes, because if all my mates were there, I'd borrow their shoes and their bike and their scooter just so I could ride with them. And then I'm like,
That's insane. That is a crazy concept.
and then what kind of shifted it for me, like, because I still can rollerblade today, and I love it. And it's sick to watch.
Have you hit your ramp from the
Yeah,
top?
I triple backflipped to my landing on rollerblades.
No way.
Yeah, legit.
Going back to the Pastrana quote.
yeah.
But I went to my first like competition on rollerblades, and all these dudes were like, you know how they like rollerblading is like grinding, like doing these crazy grinds, and I'd never even did a like grind in my life. I was just doing for like 2 or 3 years. I was just like doing what the bikers are doing, like 360, 540, 720s, like flip tricks, and I was like doing that. And then I went to my first rollerblade contest, and I'm like, whoa, this is way different to how I perceived it as. And I'm like, I guess I'm more like doing like these kind of tricks. And then I was like, oh, well, I'll go buy myself. I like went and got my own scooter, own shoes, brought it to the skate park. And then, just started doing that. And I started riding bikes at the same time nearly. Maybe like a year or two in, because I couldn't afford a BMX, like a decent one. So then I eventually like bought that complete, and then I did both.
So when you kind of glanced over, you're doing 540s, 720s, and flips on the rollerblades. So like you learned those just like fly out at the park, or what?
Well, I learned to do flips. I think there was like a chair, and we would like do flips off the chair onto the grass. Yeah. And then we'd also go to, I don't know what you call it. We call it Vinnie's in Australia, and it's like where the Salvation Army. It's where they donate stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we were just kids, and we like would go there and grab the dirty mattresses that they would have, and like drag them to the skate park, and then try to do flips onto the mattress.
Make your own little resis.
Yeah. The rad style.
Yeah.
And that's how I learned on scooter. But I think on bike I just did it straight. I just straight to grass or dirt out like there's Caloundra skate park. Have you ever been to Caloundra skate park?
I don't know.
It's the one with the blue shade cloths.
No, I never been to that one.
Oh, okay.
That's your local park?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so that's
I've
where
seen
my
that footage my whole life.
Yeah, you see like W ride it and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
so that's the park like that you just rollerbladed to that amazing park.
Yep.
Okay, and that's still the one that you ride today, right?
Yeah. That's the thing about Australia. Every little town seems to have some park that could be like the best local park ever.
Yeah. It always seemed
parks.
like parks in Australia were always a little bit larger back then. You know, like they made them like 6 and 7, where here in California they're like 5. In the early 2000s.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
You're just used to it. I remember like the first trip I did there, we'd drive by like 3 skate parks. You'd see them off the side of the highway to go to another skate park. They're like, nah, those aren't as good. And you're like, what?
Yeah, no, I see that, and there is like, to be fair, they're like 1 in a dozen that have like a really, like now they're a lot better. Like there is a lot of big bowls, but I feel like Caloundra was like a standout. Like I was super lucky.
They're not all that good.
But you did have to pay to go there. Like every time I went there, you had to pay. So my mum would buy me a yearly pass. I think it was like, but now it's like $5 to get in. Oh, they've totally made it free now. But from like 2 years ago, it was like $5 to get in.
Okay.
Which is kind of like a blessing and a curse, because you would only get people that went there to ride.
True.
Like you don't pay $5 to just go there and like, just bully people.
Yeah. Very true.
Whereas I'd go to a different skate park and I'd like get bullied or like whatever. So like a Caloundra skate park was kind of like just everyone was going in there to ride, and it was just like it was a rad place. Like I'm so blessed to be able to have Caloundra skate park for sure.
Hell yeah.
So was it really like BMX and scooters at the same time, or was it like solely scooters?
No,
like
it was both.
Oh, okay.
It was cool. There was like, obviously there was a group of guys that were like the older BMX boys, and then there was probably like an average day. Let me think. An average day when I was growing up, there was probably like maybe 5 to 10 BMXs, and then there was probably like 15 scooter riders, and then like maybe like 2 skateboarders. And that's one thing I've noticed about America is that you have so many more skateboarders, and people are like skateboard, like every park there's so many skateboarders. In Australia,
not many, right?
Not many.
Yeah.
Like unless it's just a fully like skateboard park, like a more street plaza kind of deal, then you'll get a lot of skateboarders. But like Caloundra skate park didn't really. It had maybe like 4 like main skateboarders, locals.
Was there any notable BMXers, like dudes that we wouldn't recognize? Like that were in that session, in that 10, 15 people?
I mean, there was the local guys, but the first pro I ever met was Dave Dillaway.
That's what I was going to
Because
say.
he rode
I was
that
like,
park with the blue shade.
Dave Dillaway.
Yeah, I remember those. He was the first person. He had clips and like inserts at that park.
Yeah. Was he nice?
Yeah.
All right.
He was. He was actually. I don't even know.
He is a nice guy.
I think I had my BMX then. Yeah, he's super nice. He's rad. It's cool to see him now because like I met him when I was so small. But yeah, eventually got my own bike and then did kind of both. I would bring both my scooter and bike to the skate park like every time, just in case more of my BMX friends showed up or more of my scooter friends showed up. Then I would just like be able to do both, or just because like for me it was all about once I stopped rollerblading by myself. I was like, this is way funner to like learn tricks with your friends.
Yeah.
So then that's when it became like I'll bring both, just because it was all about just like hanging out and riding with those people, either a scooter or BMX or both.
And then when did scooter start to take over?
Scooters, I mean, it never really it took over like on Nitro, like on a level of like
sponsorship.
It was
like
like taking me places. Like they took me to America, and we rode like there was a massive competition in
Who's they? Nitro?
MGP. It was called Mad
MGP.
Gear.
Okay, yeah.
It's
Mad
like
Gear,
a scooter company. Then they took me to Claremont, and they had like this annual contest. It was like one of the biggest in scootering, and then they were the first people to like get a international team and like bring them over. Like first one to take a scooter team overseas to like do a competition.
And how old are you at this point?
It's hard to remember.
13?
Hey, I think I was 16 maybe.
Oh, okay.
16 or 17.
Okay.
Yeah, because I got on Nitro Circus when I was 17, and I think I'd already been traveling a little bit with that company before Nitro. So yeah, it would have been 15 or 16.
Okay. Cool.
It's cool that in like Australia, like scooters and BMX where just everyone did everything together, because here you're saying like skating's way bigger at skate parks. And I feel like that's true. And because skating's like cool, you know, it's like this lifestyle thing that there's so many posers. There's only like 10% of them are actually there to like shred and learn and everything.
Yeah.
And then when BMXers started getting into the skate parks, they kind of were like, not all of them, but there was that group that was like haters on us.
Yeah.
And then when scooters started coming into the
2008
skate
was like
parks,
BMX jihad type era.
yeah,
you know?
because
like,
all of a sudden the
like,
staff ended, so everyone could ride everything.
Yeah.
And if the cops didn't care, then it was up to the skaters to kick us out, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah.
Yeah.
But then when scooters started coming, the same thing, BMXers and skaters were hating on them because they were doing the same thing, you know? But now it's cool because everyone's like, oh, we're all just doing the same thing. It's finally 2023 and it's like normal. But it seems like in Australia, that was always the case.
Yeah, it was.
There wasn't as much.
There was a little divide. Like it was like, but I think we went through the stages earlier, so we got past it like quicker. So it was like when I was riding the skate parks in Australia, it was like chill. They were like, "Oh, dude, what you doing on a scooter? Sick!" Like you would get props from like BMXers and skaters. And then when I came to America, in saying that, I'd come to America and like they'd be like super weird about it, but then I'd do a cool trick and then they would be like sweet about it. But I feel like in Australia,
which is almost the exact same thing with BMX and skating for me, you know? It's like they'd be like weird, but then someone would do something sick and like, oh, that was cool. But it's like, that's bullshit.
Oh,
like,
you can stay now.
Yeah, it's like, what? Like, you know, now it's not like that, but it's the same thing for BMX that you guys kind of felt, I think.
Yeah.
In the beginning for me, at least.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. I think that almost helped me, like riding a scooter and the stigma that I got about it. It was almost like a driving force behind me. And it's even still a driving force now on BMX and things I do, like them doubting me or like saying, oh, this is like not cool. And I was like, I'm just going to do so good that you think it like until you think it's cool, you know, like
you did that to me, dude. In Mega Ramp, I was like, this guy's going to kill himself. Like, I didn't know about you that much. It was like one of the first years you were in X Games. And I was like, oh my God, like they got this guy here to kill himself.
Yeah.
Like, and then like 3 runs in, I was like, holy shit. And I don't know if he won or got really close to winning. And then, you know, after that, I was like,
yeah,
this is the dude.
Yeah.
Took like a couple runs for me to be like,
and I found that
changed my mind real quick.
And it's like the thing is, you'll never escape it. What I've always learned.
I don't know. I think you've escaped it a long time ago.
Yeah, I escaped that, but I feel like it's just the next thing now. Now it's like, oh, you can't do this trick. You can only do this trick because you've got this airbag. And it's like, yeah, like maybe, but like if it comes down to it,
so you're saying there's always some sort of hatred.
Yeah, that's
like,
what
some hatred towards something.
You'll never,
that's it, yeah.
and you'll never escape it. It happened to me at school. Like I'd get bullied at school, like for your looks or whatever, and then like you get over it, and then you move on. Oh, riding scooter, like I'm actually doing pretty well. Oh, you can only do this because you're on a scooter. Oh, okay. And then I'd rode a bike, and I was doing the same tricks on a bike. Oh, you can only do this now because you're on a resi, and you're like, you can't do that to like a real landing. X Games gold medal. Oh well, yeah, you're like anything. It just goes to the next thing. It's like, well, now I get all the way to the X Games, like the top or whatever, and they're like, well, you only got there because you got the Nitro Circus opportunity. And I'm like, oh, you can't win. I just like.
And just keep going.
I love
because, like you said, you started in the beginning and learning to push through that. And then just keep pushing through it because haters always going to hate.
Yeah, and for me, like I'm chill. I don't mind it, but I just feel bad, like for the people that are maybe like still at like square one, and they're already getting like
and it'll make a lot of people
intimidated not to have fun. You know? And that's why I always try to like. That's why I ride a BMX, and I like if someone asks me I'm a scooter rider, like, yeah, I'm still a scooter rider because like. I want to represent them, so maybe that they get less, grief for just having fun. So,
Yeah.
And then you never know, like this kid that you're like giving grief to on a scooter for riding a scooter or anything, they could like turn around and get like really good at BMX, and then one day they're really good at BMX, and maybe it was because of scootering. Because I definitely think that I wouldn't be here or like doing X Games if I didn't ride a scooter and like go through what I did to get to where I have been.
Well, I think even from, my mentality at the beginning of the scooter days was like, these dudes should just ride BMX bikes.
Yeah.
This is hurting BMX because it's like it's essentially like an easier version of BMX, and same from skateboarding type thing too. And it's and then after a while I was like, well, these are little kids, and it's like if we embrace them and show them how cool BMX is, they already have this skill set. There's Lupos, and even Cole Volker rode a scooter. He rode BMX, and then he rode a scooter for a while, and now he's back on BMX and he kills it. And it's like they get those foundation and that those skills, and you show them BMX and how fun it can be as well. Yeah. And they try it out instead of being like hated by it, and they're like, wow, I can't touch that.
Yeah.
So now, quote unquote skate park, if you're a little kid and you go there and there's an equal number of BMXers, scooters, and skateboarders, and even rollerblading, seen a couple at Memorial the other day, like if that came back too, it's awesome because you get to just pick what you want to do.
Yeah.
More fun shit to do at parks. They shouldn't be skate parks. They should just be parks that everyone gets to help design.
And I feel like everyone benefits from everyone. It's like, I feel like action sports is like a whole. That's why I always try to like, just say like, I like just action sports is so good. Like any action sport is fun. Like rollerblading, I feel like rollerblading is insane. Like the things that they're doing.
But they got hated on more than anyone. Yeah. And it's so hard for them to even go because literally like being a rollerblader was like so clowned on that people don't even want to do it. Like it's hardcore.
I feel bad as like BMX as a community because we were hated on. We were hated on by skaters, and I wish we would have just like stopped it, and been like, hey, we're not going to continue this on. But I felt like BMX is like, no, like where it's like your older brother picked on you, and we have a younger brother now that we can pick on instead of like.
That's what I always tell people that talk shit on like kids or anybody that's like, when they're talking shit, I'm like, look what are you doing? You're like continuing this. You got to stop it. Like teach kids etiquette. Don't like be mad at them and make them not come to the skate park. The more crowded skate parks are, the more parks there will be.
Yeah.
Like if there's empty parks everywhere, then they're not going to keep building them. But if they're packed full of everything, every type of sport, then
and you just got to show up earlier. Then get there before the crowd if it bothers you.
What about motorcycles though? What if motorcycles start riding in the parks?
Surons.
Yeah. What if? Is that not cool?
Yeah.
They might need their own thing because they could. So I don't know though, because that's like the same thing skaters say about BMXers. Like you shouldn't be here; it's too dangerous.
Yeah.
What if a 250 dirt bike just shows up? He loves the park as much as you do.
Cue that clip of Varga in the bowl and the motorcycle runs into him.
Oh yeah.
And then he throws his bike in the dude's face.
That'd be really confusing. You get snaked by a motorbike. You're like, what?
Yeah, motorcycle. I think a motorcycle is just not fun in a skate park, anyways. So it's like, it can be like Colby Raha.
I was gonna say,
there's only a couple people that are good enough to like actually ride it, and then he would never run into you. So it's like, all right. Sorry.
Well, tangent number one.
Yeah.
Surron would be fun in a giant skate park.
How did the Nitro thing come about? So sponsorship kicks off for we got the MGP thing, and then how does Nitro, because Nitro was a thing. Nitro Circus was a thing, but they didn't have scooters involved at all, right?
Yeah, they had one scooter rider, and it was like part of the contraption segment. And
so literally like the sofa, it was in the sofa section.
Yeah. No, when I started,
respect.
When I started, that's the segment I was in. So it was actually kind of funny. When I first started Nitro Circus, I'll tell you the story about how I got in first, actually. So it was like they had one guy, his name was Andrew Broussard. He owns a scooter company called Proto, and it's here in California. And he somehow got involved with Nitro Circus from the live show at the start. I guess they were just like, what can we have on this? Oh, a scooter rider could do it. And they had a training thing at Parlor. And I guess Broussard was close. They got him out there. He must have flipped, did some tricks. And then he did the first tour. And he was doing cliffhangers and kind of tricks that like more moto tricks. So I guess they kind of dig that. But then they realized that, hey, the scooters, they're actually quite popular. So they came to Australia and they were like, okay, we want 3 riders, like 3 scooter riders to come to a practice and just to show us like what more you can do. Because they only had Andrew Broussard, and I'm not sure how old he was, but he was quite older. And I was the first person they picked on the list. And then it was this guy, Max Peters, and Mitch Baldry. And they were literally like, yeah, sign this waiver. Here's the 40-foot gap. Like, show us what you can do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the biggest thing I'd ridden was like, I think I dropped in the Monster skate park vert, and that was like an 18-foot drop roll in. So I was like, okay, like that's like my only experience going from that and then to this 40-foot jump. And I remember like the first time I did it, the first guy was Max Peters. I think he went first, and like I think he just straight jumped it and then like fell, and then
so this was like all the scooter riders. It's kind of like a tryout.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was in Albury in Australia, and it was like one of the first shows on tour.
Was the guy that was already on the tour even there to show you?
Yeah, no,
okay,
he was there.
all right,
Andrew Broussard was there, and they were just like, yeah, just go for it. And we had to drag our foot because the gap was like short, so you'd have to drag your foot down the roll in and then hit it. And I remember the first one I did, I like dragged my foot so hard that I like didn't hang 5. Like legit, like hang 5 for like a meter, and I'm like, oh, and then I'm like, get on, and I just front flipped it because sometimes like when you're jumping that big, it's easier to flip than like just straight jump. So I front flipped, and then I like come out like over rotated, but like kind of caught my feet first, and then just like rolled, and then the next one I just like fronty tucked, and then I just kind of got it from there. And
so that was your first 2 jumps on it. You're savage. All right, go ahead.
Straight jump is hard.
Yeah,
I would not recommend straight jumping at first jump. Especially like how big it is. But
How long is the gap?
they say 40 foot, but I think it's like 32, 36. So it's like goes in between there. But and then they were like, oh yeah, you've done good enough to get in the show. And then in my first show in Albury, I can tell you this is what they said before I drop in. We've got them. They're in our skate parks, and we want to get rid of them. How about we drop in the scooter and we let it and hopefully they crash, something like that. What? It was like legit. I swear, we want him out of our skate parks, but now we've got him here.
Dude.
Let's send him down, and hopefully he crashes or something along those lines, dude. Crazy.
Hearing this shit from being a BMX rider, like heard a lot of like shitty stuff, but man, yeah, you've had to you've been through the ringer on
yeah.
hatred.
Like
That's so lame.
But that was like that was
sentiment,
like the rhetoric
yeah.
back then at that time, like just kind of like
It's ridiculous, though.
You know,
like,
if
still, that'd be like, come on, guys. Like,
you know, even if you don't think
Was
that,
the announcer a
if
skater?
you're in a room full of people that think something, you're like,
Who was the announcer?
Yeah.
That's kind of what it was like. But I feel like there was 10% of people that actually like felt that way and actually were angry.
which it
about
always is.
And they were like the outspoken people, and then
Which
you
it
know,
always is.
right? And then people just didn't talk. They were like they weren't going to go against it. They'd rather just like go, yeah, because it's not affecting them.
Yeah.
But it was fine. They did that for like a year or two.
A year.
Well, they literally said it every
Maybe,
show.
yeah. Yeah, no, every show
Dude,
for a,
literally, we're trying to exterminate this sport. Let's see if we can kill this guy.
No, they said, and this is the funny thing is Chris Happy was like dropping in the same set.
He's a blader, right?
Blader,
Yeah.
Sick blader.
This is before he was on Nitro. He fakie 720 to fakie El Toro.
Yeah, he had the craziest shit in the
Dude,
streets.
and he's done even
Crazy
bigger stuff
shit,
than that.
yeah.
Like, so he was getting that as well. Like, it was like the rollerblades and scooters, we want them out of our parks, and like we would drop in and do like some sick stuff, and that's why it eventually changed because we were like doing tricks that were getting like really big cheers. So eventually they were like, oh well, kind of doesn't fit, you know, with the show. But
That's
legit,
insane.
yeah.
That's so
That's
toxic.
insane.
Yeah,
I
here we're
know,
gonna pay
I
you
know.
to clown on you.
Like, okay, I knew there's
Like-
hatred for sure, but like to do it in front of a stadium, like before you drop in, that's on another level.
But back then it wasn't that. Like, I know if they did it now, like they'd probably like it would be like you
It'd be
would feel
booed,
like that.
yeah,
But back then that was just not the way people like thought. You know,
They're like,
Yeah.
they're so lucky to be in this
didn't-
tour.
I honestly didn't care because like I was already at that point. I'm in Nitro Circus, dude.
Yeah, that's what-
it's like
that's
when
how-
you bought like
that's what I was thinking.
Dude, throw rubbish at me. As long as I can, if I'm traveling like with Nitro Circus, Travis Pastrana, like Bilko, like all the moto guys I looked up to, all the BMX guys I looked up to, and like guys like Wheels, like Aaron Wheels Farlingham. I'm on tour with these guys, and like all they do is just say some weird stuff when I drop in, and then I do a trick and people cheer
Yeah.
because I change their minds. Like, I'm all about it. Anyway, that show dropped
When you
in.
land a trick, would they be like, "Oh, that was
dude,
sick"?
that
Like they
was
would
the
actually
high
give you
five.
props.
So my first
So
ever show.
so it was kind of an act where they'd be like, "All right, we're getting these guys out of the parks,"
Yeah.
but you land something, they're like, "Yo," like they'd actually be
and the
pumped.
announcer would kind of like change it up then, like they would
That's
start
cool.
with like a.
It's lame, but
because we
it's
are
cool.
in the contraption segment, so
Yeah.
we're not meant to be like. BMX had their own segment. BMX and skate had their own segment.
Skate was in Nitro Circus. The jump.
Yeah, Lindsay. So Travis's
Travis's
wife,
wife,
she
yeah.
would jump and
Lindsay
stuff.
Vaughn.
But anyway, the first show in Albury, I land double front flip, like the world's first double front flip on scooter. Land it, hit the airbag, and then on the way back from the thing, like the crowd's going nuts.
Yeah.
It's sick. High five, Travis. Dude, that was the sickest thing I've ever seen on scooter. What?
Damn. Was that the first high five you remember? Or
Yes, that's
That
it.
was it.
That's
That
the
was
one.
the one,
That's the
yeah.
one I
that was the
remember.
first time he high fived you.
Yeah.
Wow.
That because he
a couple
was,
years into the show.
No,
No, it was like second
this
show.
is
Oh,
first
okay.
show.
First show.
Oh, first show.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
Travis was always like Travis has never. like
Yeah,
that.
he's such a good dude.
I've always
He's got
noticed
no hate.
that, like you, the people that really like hate are never like the people at the top. Like when I'm at X Games, when I first went to X Games, I had my scooter in the change room, and like everyone would be like messing around on it, like they're playing on it and they're like having fun on it, and they're not like, get that out of here.
Yeah.
Like like people would think back
Yep.
then, like they're not like no one's like that at the top. Like
No.
they might not, like some guys like Nigel might not want to like associate like, with it, but they're not like openly going or
Yeah.
like to my face or anything.
Yeah,
It's
I
the
remember
people.
that.
It's the people that want your spot.
Yeah,
That think you don't deserve there because
Dude,
they,
I would get
and they
so
wanna
much
be
shit at the
there,
local
like that
park,
type of
and then
thing.
like go to X Games, and the skaters were like the nicest,
Chill,
coolest,
right?
funnest people. But then like back at like OB Park, there'd just be these like douchey kids that could barely do anything,
Yeah.
and there was the
Yeah.
lamest, and it was like, you guys don't even know, like you're so lame.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah.
the same shit.
Yeah, you're picking up a mentality that you think you're supposed to have.
Exactly,
so
and I'm
be
like, all your
cooler.
heroes are cool
Yeah.
as fuck, and
Yeah.
they would never be like this. Like,
Yeah.
they would hate you for this. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
And then even some people that were like weird about scooters, even on the Nitro tour, like you just be like cool with them, and then like you do tricks, and they all come around, like because they
Yeah.
realize. Everyone just realizes that we have like the same passion, no matter what you're on. I've seen it like in motocross, skateboard, scooter, like rollerblading, everything. We all like kind of have the same like kind of mindset. We're all like trying to do certain things in our sport and like just have fun and like progress our sports, and it's all kind of like similar. And we all have our little things. Like in scootering, we even have like not so bad at the start. It was like scooter, like park and street. And that's one thing I noticed, actually. I was going to bring it up because in BMX, I would notice that there was like this divide of park and street. Like this is when I first started scootering.
Yeah.
And there would be this divide, like this like civil war that BMX would have.
Civil
And-
war.
And in,
So accurate,
In
though.
scootering, we got teased by all angles. So like we were like just like so together.
Yeah.
If you rode
Yeah.
park or street, you were just like a scooter rider anyway, like that. And then we would like stick together, and I would look at BMX and go, and they would be like fighting. Like it would like be kind of like not
Bickering.
bad, but
Yeah.
bickering, know. And I was like, oh, at least like scootering, like we're all a family. And now that scootering is kind of like, now we're like a little bit more accepted. Now you start to see, oh, well, I'm park, I'm street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just
It's definitely
funny.
one of those things, yeah. Like when the early days of BMX, where the people say like, "Oh, if you saw a BMXer just ride down the street, you stopped and you talked to them, and they were
Yeah.
automatically your best friend." And now
When
those
something
days are
gets big,
gone.
it gets
Yeah.
clicky,
Yeah, so it is funny though. Civil War.
Yeah.
Civil War is a good way to say
But
it.
yeah, no, everyone's like, I feel like come around, and it's all like X Games is such an amazing experience. So that's like kind of what got me into
think-
action sports in general.
I think people should take note of that though. Like really put weight into that. That the people at the top are accepting and cool with everything
Yeah.
because they don't feel like they need to like prove anything or take somebody else's spot or whatever, stuff like that. Like I think it's a heavy statement for people to absorb. You know, when
Yeah.
you're like about to
I
get
think some
online
pe-
and
some
type
people
something,
like-
it's like, dude, your hero's not going to sit there
Yeah.
and type something like that. on the internet.
Some people just like they're climbing their way to the top, so they're gonna like bring the people around them down
yeah.
to get high, feel high themselves
Yeah,
at least.
which is never the right way.
But, yeah.
So you were doing scooter stuff, and then so at that point, are you like part of the tour? So you did it for 2 years, right? Or,
No,
well,
yeah,
I mean,
no. I
20
literally
years
just-
at this point, basically.
Yeah,
but-
just
yeah.
11 years
11
I've done
years,
it.
yeah.
Since I was 17 years old. I was
Crazy.
still doing school.
Yeah.
So I do school Monday to Friday, fly out Friday, do a show on the weekend, then fly home
Crazy.
with no homework done.
Expected. So when do you start jumping on a bike at the Nitro stuff?
I think pretty close.
And I guess at this point you're sponsored scooter rider, riding scooters in the show. Like BMX is fully gone to the wayside. I assume.
No. I would bring my BMX to the skate park every time I went to this local skate park. I just wouldn't travel with my bike.
Okay.
So that was kind of it. But then on tour, I would find myself, I don't know how long exactly in, but I think I made a YouTube video. I would not be able to find it though. And it was like jumping BMX on Nitro Circus. So that I could actually pinpoint it if I looked.
Yeah.
But I just basically front flipped the ramp and like did a few tricks. And I don't know. I think it was maybe only a year or two in, because I would ride my bike a lot at the skate park, but I couldn't tail whip because I'm goofy footed rider and I just didn't really do tail whips. I learnt bar spins by switching my feet because otherwise my bike would fall over. But yeah, I don't know. I rode bikes a lot, so I knew that I could do jump. I could jump the Nitro ramp like if I really wanted to on bike. And then I think maybe a year or two in, I don't know. It was just like I think it was at Travis Pastrana's, and he was having a big contest, like where it was like do trick. Like they had a big flat bag. It was the first time I got to ride it. Oh, maybe they didn't even have a flat bag. I'm not sure. But they had a competition, right? And it was at Travis's, and it's the first time I'm there, and I'm just like going. I'm like, oh my god, this is insane. And I borrowed one of his bikes from the garage, and I was like, I'm just gonna try one of my scooter tricks because like. At that point, I was doing tricks on scooter that people couldn't do on bike. Well, they thought they couldn't do.
Are.
And they were like, people were like, oh, you can only do those tricks because you're on a scooter. Uh-huh. And I was like, I know that that's not true.
Yeah.
I reckon I could do these tricks on a bike. And so Travis had like an event, and I tried to do a front flip inward on he had a bike. I don't know what it was. It was like super heavy. It was just in his garage hanging up. Like it must be
probably like a 90s dirt jumper bike.
Legit. It must have been something. It was just
TJ
it was
Lavin
hanging
gave it to
up,
him.
and there was like 5 bikes just like in his garage. I guess just like because he has
that
that much
you had
stuff.
to pump up the tires.
And I'm like, yeah, legit. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna send it because I'm at Travis Pastrana's house. I drop in. They're having this contest, and I think Jed Milton did like a triple flip, and it was like pretty wild.
Oh, okay.
And then
it was like a contest for people to land like first tricks.
Yeah.
It was on his DVD at the time.
I don't know.
I remember seeing this. Might have been one of the first times I seen you.
Yeah, it was literally a ramp, and then they'd push mulch into a pile, and then they just laid a resi on it.
Yeah.
And it was like so bad.
But it was huge though, right?
It was huge.
Yeah.
It was huge. And then I just tried this front flip inward. Oh, that's right, because I was trying it to the foam pit, because he has a foam pit. And I'm like, oh, this is like kind of working like a scooter. And I'm like, I'll just send it. And I do this, and this bike's so heavy, like twice as heavy as my bike today. And that, like, the trick is a front flip inward. It's like a hard trick for me to even do now. Like, it's so hard. It's where you do a front bike flip, like, but you keep your hand on. You know the inward I did?
Yeah.
I don't know
But you're doing a front flip too.
Yeah. So you know that I did in my triples run, the last one, I did on the last set, I do like a bike front flip like that. And then I'm X up. To like, so it doesn't like hit my elbow. And then I do that in a front flip. So I just tried that, and I remember
You've done it over Mega Ramp, right? X
Games,
Games,
I've done it. I did an X Games in China.
Yeah.
And then I landed like wonky, and then because there was no transition, it just went like straight from flat to this. I like landed and just like died, but I was like, wow, like I could do this trick. And then sure enough, we had a tour in Europe. And I just borrowed someone's bike on tour. I think it was Andrew Ahumada. I borrowed his bike, and I landed it in like France, and it was my first like world first.
So you weren't even bringing your bike on that like Europe tour. Damn.
And then
I borrowed a bike.
Yeah, I would just borrow a bike and then try it, and then I ended up doing another one. It was it was a show here. It was an indoor show. First one, like it might have been in the Honda Center or something. It was like it was like indoor arena, huge show.
Anaheim.
Ryan Sheckler was there, and I was like telling him, I want to do this trick because I've practiced a 720 front flip at Travis's, and it like worked. And I want to do this trick on bike. And at this point, I was like pretty like up there in the show, and like they were respecting scootering, and I was like bringing like a decent crowd. So they're like, no, you're not allowed to do that. We don't want you to get hurt. No tricks outside of what you're doing, because it was a bit different. Like they had a show plan. You had to stick to it. You couldn't do new tricks. We weren't going to add a scooter kid into the BMX segment just so we could try this trick and get hurt, basically. That's where their mindset was. And I'm like, I can do this trick. Like, let me do it. No, the boss says no. And then I was like pissed off. So I'm like, Minnie, give me a bike in the final train. Give me a bike in the final train. I'm going to try this freaking trick. I'm going to land it. And then, so everyone goes, and I'm the final one in this train.
So they won't kind of notice that you're in it, so you jump in the train.
So they don't care because it's in a train. Like, you're in the back. If you crash, no one cares, right?
Yeah.
So that was like their idea.
So you went very last.
Because it was a super important show, yeah. So I went very last, drop in. 720 front flip BMX, landed first try. First try I ever tried it on BMX. Like, I've been doing it on a scooter for like maybe a year.
That's so sick. It probably just surprised so many people that like, what was that? They're like,
and
that
I
was fucking Ryan.
To the boss, I was like, I told you. Because I'm like so hot because like I'm just losing. Ryan Checkler jumps over the barrier and he's like, that was the sickest I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Just sent it. But
That's
I've been doing it on a scooter for like a year, and I knew I had it super dialed on scooter, and I just knew like the feeling of it.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I just do this,
It's just a rotation, right?
Yeah.
It's like on something else.
and I'd cash rolled a bike and I'd cash rolled a scooter, kind of similar. And then I was just like, this is all I need to do. Sure enough, went there and did it. And then I bought that bike off Minnie.
What did the bosses
Put that
think?
on your wall.
What did they say to you? Did they? I'm sure you had a conversation.
Oh,
After.
I was just.
They're like, you're in the BMX show.
Hey, you need to listen to us. But that was awesome.
Like, that was
Your contract
so,
goes up. You're doing BMX too.
Yeah, they're like, that's so good. And I'm like, yeah, I told you. Like, I was like kind of pissed. I was like, you should have let me do it when everyone was watching, because like it was just at the back of a train where like some people
with like action sports people, you're at that high of a caliber. Like, dude, you're not gonna fucking hurt yourself. Like, I mean, you can, but you're not. That's not the goal. Like, you're not thinking like I got to kill myself to try this trick right now.
They just didn't want people crashing so much.
Yeah.
So they thought I was going to crash because I'm trying a new trick.
Okay, they want everything to get stomped.
Yeah.
Okay. That's amazing. That's a great story.
That was a trip.
My first memory, I feel like, that I ever recognized you online, and maybe I'll wait till. Yeah. We didn't do it. We didn't mention Dale's at all. I just realized that.
Do it right now.
Coffee.
I'll drink a beer.
Yeah, you can. I went to the store and bought those. I just got back like 5 minutes before you did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because we ran out. It's like, it doesn't make sense. I feel like it probably costs them more to send it.
Oh,
here,
yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah,
like,
100%.
Yeah, because it's like, so, and just like.
Especially like a.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a box like this big, and
so
it doesn't really
heavy.
have that much in it, you know? Like, I got it, and it was like kind of underwhelming, you know? Like, it's like not that much, and then I was like expecting like a pallet or something.
Yeah.
So,
That's what you're better off.
yeah, just go buy it. So.
Surely they have like a local thing that would just like.
Yeah, I mean, the lady just said like, just go buy it, and you can just add it to the invoice, so no big deal. Yeah.
You a morning beer chug?
Yeah, you guys are. Now that you're back, you got so many fluids in front of you.
I always do.
Yeah, we did. We did.
Where were we at before we paused our story?
Well, I want to bring up the first time
we're
that
flowing good.
Yeah, the first. I'm still on Nitro stuff.
Okay.
I know what I want to ask, but we did forget to do Dale's. Forgot to plug the Spano. And you guys are down for a morning chug, so keep that away.
He was
from,
the one who offered or suggested it, so
keep that away from my brand new computer. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Dale's, Oskar Blues. Look at you! Is it you guys racing? I can hear it. I can just fluid dynamics.
Cheers.
37 more to go for Dennis.
Yep.
Cheers.
Hell yeah.
Oh, that was a 9%.
Oh really? No. That's another. That didn't taste
Coffee,
like a
water, beer,
That didn't
Rockstar.
That didn't taste like a 9%. That went down sweet.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, those are great.
My
Morning podcast, so
Nitro
I wouldn't be
Circus told me
drinking,
that
but
as well.
Yeah. What's that?
Nitro Circus told me that as well.
Oh no.
Not drinking.
Oh,
that sounds really bad.
Yeah,
the chug.
chugging, 'cause
Yeah, the
when
you were
chug.
going fast. I was like, I don't want to look. I gotta go a little faster. Normally, my chugs are just kind of sipping slowly, but I like that. We'll feel that in 5 minutes.
My question was, I feel like my first time that I saw you on the internet as like, oh, who is this kid? It was a Nitro Circus announcer, and he was like kind of like saying something, and I can't remember the exact quote, and there's no way I could possibly find it, but it was like, this scooter kid doesn't even ride bikes, and he's clowning on all of BMX, like
so lame.
you know, something like that, right? And then you did I think it was probably the front flip, inward flip that you were talking about. And it was kind of like a bad intro for BMX to see, you know, and it was like why, and I felt like that was like off the wrong foot, you know, like type thing.
They're like, and that's I didn't really like. Obviously now, if they were to say something like that, I have the power to be like, "What are you talking about? Please don't say that." But back then, I was just like I was like a pawn, you know. That's what I felt like. Then they were just like, however they were gonna represent me, then I just do that, and then like hopefully I could. People obviously knew that I wasn't like. A lot of people knew that I wasn't like that because they see my YouTube. At that point, I was probably like not making YouTube videos as much as I am now, but I would still be putting stuff out there, and they would know who I might. But that's like obviously you were like
it was like it was like gaslighting us into being like
the announcer said that.
Yeah, the announcer. I can picture the dude. He's like an older dude.
Well, that'll piss BMX.
Raspy voice.
Yeah, legend, but
that's gonna piss BMXers off because they're so core, and then they see that they're like, dude, what? Like you're just in front of this whole audience.
He's a legend, but he's like he's like a metal militia. He's been from the Nitro from the start. He's kind of like old head, kind of like tough, like funny like that, but like he wouldn't realize that he's even making people feel like that.
Yeah, doing you a disservice
and
too.
I didn't
in
like
a sense.
it either because I do remember them saying some stuff, and I'm like, why? Like, why do they have to say that? But then it is a show; it's theatrical, so it's like.
And granted, the fact is that one trick is that's like it is clowning on a lot of BMXers, you know.
Well, but it was like said something like he's doing tricks that the BMXers wish they could, or something like that, or something. And everybody, and you know, the comments, of course, were like, "No, we don't wish we were doing that." You know, like,
even today,
we don't even know what that is.
Even like today,
respect,
like the trick that I won best trick. They're like, keep your scooter tricks in scootering. I've never even done that trick on scooter.
The one that won the
last
triple,
not a special flip. But
I got
it was
sick.
Like,
special twist.
Yeah.
So much of like my family and close friends were sending that to me. I'm like, you think I didn't see this? You know, everyone saw this. Like, check this BMX trick out. I'm like, yeah, no shit. Like the whole world has seen this. I kept getting sent that.
I read it. Keep your scooter tricks in scooter.
Oh
I'm like, I haven't even done that trick on a
that's
scooter.
Cool.
Yeah. Nobody's done that trick before.
That was your. I know we're gonna. This is circling around.
There.
That was your first dirt contest.
Other than the best trick at X Games at Pat's, that was like, but that wasn't like a dirt, contest.
Yeah.
Congrats, because that's another thing. They're like, all right, he probably can just win mega ramp. You can just ride mega ramp. You can't ride the quarter. You learn how to ride the quarter. Okay, you can just ride the mega ramp. Can I just ride a dirt contest now too?
Right.
Well,
like,
and I
now what?
raced BMX.
Oh, you can't ride a line.
I raced BMX, so it's not like I didn't. I like. That's how I learned to ride a bike, was racing BMX.
Yeah, you're gonna probably be invited to every dirt contest now.
That'd be sick.
That'd be sick. Yeah.
Why would you not?
Yeah.
Like,
and then and it's like there's park dudes that show up to those triple challenge events,
That's
and
how it was in the
they
beginning.
don't ride, and they're like, I'm too park for this.
Yeah.
Like there's
well,
legit
even in
legit
Dutour,
riders.
it was like dirt dudes, and then like some of us, I was kind of both, but there was a lot of like park dudes who were getting into it, and they're like, park dude,
Yeah.
But they ended up starting to do really good, people
just meaning in the sense of like they're big ass jumps and they'll scare you, and like
it just
dudes
takes
that
it
are
back
like,
to that the people who are scared of getting their spot taken.
Yeah,
Those are the ones that get fearful and worried about someone scooter riders riding dirt. That's bullshit.
I honestly think that if I had like some really decent trails or like more dirt jumps when I was growing up, when I first started riding BMX, I think that I might have like gone that route more of BMX, because I feel like I actually enjoy kind of doing that more. Like when there was like a trail and it was like not good.
Yeah.
But when I got to go ride some trails, I was like, oh, this is like the sickest thing ever. And I still I love riding trails. So I definitely enjoy that a lot more. I think I just there was just more of my friends doing something else, and that's why I turned that corner of going.
I'm exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like dirt was always the sickest thing, but it was just like, I was too lazy to build the jumps, and they weren't around, so I was like, I'll ride park.
I'll just say I'm thankful you went the route you did, because we have you. It was unique, that is producing things that nobody else is. Like, so I that's maybe, but I'm glad you chose the route you did. And then, so I guess circling back to the Nitro thing, that was like, I feel like
imagine if he would have chose dirt jumping though, that route. Like, I think any route he would have.
But
his
he
yard
would
have just filled with 90-foot jumps all over.
I feel like we go on so many tangents, but I feel like I saw you do an invert, and I was like, whoa, like he's fucking, like it was like an 8-foot invert out of a quarter, and I was
Yeah.
like, that was fucking sick.
on
I was like,
bum
he's a
foot.
BMXer.
Easy,
Like
right?
I literally was like,
1 foot
I was like,
table.
all right, he's a BMXer. Like he's not just like a
That's
dude that
that's the
rides
funny-
bikes.
Yeah, that's one thing.
Occasionally
that's-
on a ramp.
Yeah.
I
That
didn't
was
know in the
but-
beginning. I'll
Yeah.
admit it. When I saw him, I was like, this
Well, that's
scooter
what I
guy's
was-
gonna kill himself on the mega ramp. Like I'll say it.
And-
Like I thought that, and then he proved me wrong.
I
Yeah.
don't do like you won't see me do that many like I can count the amount of times I've done a tail whip, you know, like a straight tail whip.
Mm-hmm.
I can almost count the amount of times I've done a single straight tail whip on my hands.
Really,
You don't really teleport
Yeah.
bar spin too much.
I do bar spin a little bit more just because I can actually do it and feel a little bit comfortable doing
You still
it.
switch your feet. Mm-hmm. Really? So if you're gonna do like a 1260, you're
I
still gonna switch
So
switch
when
footed.
anything I do with a tail whip, I switch my feet. Anything I do with a bar spin, I switch my feet.
That's fucked.
So like when I do like double whip, I do it switch footed.
What the fuck?
Or 360 double backy.
Could you do a switch footed double flip? Have you
I do,
done that?
yeah.
Just a
I
switch
haven't-
footed
I
straight
haven't
double
done
flip.
it. I haven't done it. No.
That in itself
Actually,
would impress
maybe-
the hell out of
Anybody listening, go pause. If you have your bike close, just go bunny hop switch.
Oh, every BMXer knows.
Yeah, I
Once-
feel like
it's like Jay Tui. You wouldn't even know he switches his
Yeah,
feet.
yeah.
Jay Tui switches his feet as well.
I see that. Yeah.
So like you don't realize, and there's some things I don't switch my feet. Like a lot of tricks, they're the tricks that I actually do more. The funny thing is like people think that all I do is like these like scooter tricks or whatever, but I never even do them until like I think that they need to be done. Like in an X Games run, like I want to stand out. I want to do something like unique.
Yeah.
That's when I'm going to bring those tricks out. I'm not at the skate park doing it inward. I'm at the skate park. Literally, all I do at the skate park is dip threes, nose manuals, and like 1 foot tables.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe a tuck and stuff. Like maybe I'll underflip like the spine, but I don't. The way I ride the skate park,
You have a
when no
session.
one- yeah.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
no one's like, when I'm not doing anything, like filming anything or doing a contest, I ride completely different.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
It's just dangerous. I feel like I just ride. I ride like when you're outside of, when you don't need to risk it. Like I won't do those tricks, and I'll just do the things that like I really find fun.
Yeah. yeah.
And like when you're doing those tricks, they're usually huge air. You're using huge ramps, big gaps.
Yeah,
like
which
at the
makes it
park,
way
like
easier.
you're gonna
That's why I
try
like-
a 1080 over the spine real quick. Like
Nah.
you could do that, but
Yeah.
just like not gonna be fun.
No
it's not gonna be
way.
a fun session.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you're Brian Fox.
Right.
He probably is like that. That's really fun.
That's
He's
what I
just-
do every day.
That's what I love.
Circling back to the Nitro thing. So that I feel like that was your first intro to like mass BMX, you know, like at least on the internet. And then, so what from your end of it, what was you're like, wow, they don't like me type thing.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm asking like,
What was it?
Who BMXers?
yeah, just like the mass BMX, the
I don't
internet
think
Yeah.
I
BMX.
ever.
The commoners.
Yeah. The
Yeah, I think
commoners.
that I got that, but
feeblers.
I never really met anyone that was like not nice to me.
Yeah.
Really.
But it's more the online thing, because I felt like it even just below whatever
I
that
was just so
post was.
I don't
yeah.
know. Like
you were already used to it.
There
at
was
that
no
point.
point because
Yeah.
I came from scooter riding. I already
Yeah.
got like more
Yeah.
crap for just riding a scooter. You think I'm going to start caring when I start doing what like BMXs are doing, and then they give me crap for riding a BMX? Like, weren't you already giving me crap for riding a scooter because I couldn't ride a bike, and now I'm like trying to ride a bike, and now you're giving me crap because I am riding a bike?
Yeah, I see your
It's a great
I
point.
see the miss there.
It's like when you have a really gnarly older brother, and then you get out into the real world, and you're like, "Oh, life's easy."
Yeah.
You know, like you had it, like you're just getting bullied already, and then
Yeah.
just like, nah, nothing. You know, I already did this shit when I was 13.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
bully thing.
yeah.
But I don't know. I
great
think it
point.
was just more like it just turned into, oh, you are doing this stuff, but it's on a resi, and like
Yeah.
that's the only reason you can do it.
Does Resi count? I have to
I
ask.
mean,
I have to
when
ask. At
when
some
it's
point.
all when it this is my opinion.
Yeah.
When it's all I can, like, I can't physically. I could spend millions of dollars and
Make a
maybe
cement
make
landing.
something like that can
Oh,
interchange. But there's no physical. There's no possible way I can have the setup I have where I have a flat bag to practice, and then I have a landing like underneath it that I can like fold and then blow up like a wood like thing. Like it's
Yeah,
just, you can't.
yeah.
Or if I had like a. I think originally I thought maybe if I had it on rollers, but then like even that is just so crazy. To, like,
Yeah,
put
yeah.
roll something in to like put a landing in.
What
If
is
someone-
like when do you consider something pulled, like in a sense of like you do it on the airbag? And
No,
you,
when
like,
I land like on the resin roll away,
Roll away,
like
yeah,
because
yeah.
then I know that if it was wood, exactly how it was, I I mean, I could do it. If
Yeah.
the money, and that's where I'm at, and I hope that like people start to see, because you see it like the best trick contest. Like I'll do it, when it's worth doing. But if I'm not going to do it just to make you feel like, just to make you not comment about how it doesn't count. Like, you can tell me all you want that it doesn't count, but to me, I'm doing it because I want to see like what's possible. I want to push what's possible. And if someone does it to dirt or wood, I'm gonna be so damn stoked for them. Like, and if I haven't done it, and I'm gonna be like, that is so sick that even happened. I'm glad that like I can even just do. I'm just glad I can do what have what I have, and it allows me to just do tricks that my mind thinks up. You know, and then I can go out there and I can do it where it counts, or where like people think it counts anyway. And that's when I'm willing to risk it. But I'm not gonna go to the local trails and like try to do something like a new trick that I've never done before just for like an Instagram clip kind of. Like I'd rather wait until X Games and I can unleash like or triples, and then I can just do this trick, and then that's where it kind of like I get a benefit from it, you know?
I mean, the reality is that if you didn't have an airbag at your house, that half the stuff that if people, you would have died, people would have died. Oh, it would have been, you know, like here lies.
Tricks wouldn't have been done. Like 100 tricks wouldn't have been done by like other people too. Yeah. Like you get guys like, it's sick. You get like guys like Dubby that he comes out there and like he does his first double. You get Lewis Mills out there, and he does a double flip. Like where else is he going to do a double? Catfish accidentally did a double backflip 360. Where are you going to like? There's nowhere in the world where he's not going to try that the foam pit.
It's amazing,
and like he can just do that because that exists. And like if people are upset that it exists and like I have it, well, I'm sorry, but I worked my ass off to concrete, to dirt. Like eating crap for so many years of my life, I don't care if like.
Well, I think
that's all your energy and your life built up to all this stuff. Like you just said, you bought $150,000 excavator so you can move your ramps around and build new setups. Yeah, and that comes from all the success you've had, and you've just put it back into the next thing. Like, you know,
and it helps everyone around me. The thing is, like, I got this opportunity with Nitro Circus, and I feel like sometimes like. If my friends got the same opportunity, they would be like the same level, because I have mates like Harley and Gecko, like, and they now have this because I bought it, and they're doing tricks that no one else has ever done just because they have a different mind and it works different ways. So they think of different things. Now they have an opportunity to try those things, and they're coming up with things that I never thought of doing. And like everything just grows, and it's anyone that comes to my land. That's why I don't let anyone come, but like any pro rider, anyone that like I know that's a pro scooter, pro BMX on rollerblades or something that could hit it.
Like anyone you trust that's not going to sue
sign
you.
the waiver. Sign the waiver first.
Heelys? Has anybody done it on Heelys?
No, not Heelys. Dude, it's hard. It's hard to hit. I had roller skater chicks hit it, and it was crazy.
Do they go straight? Like with the
slam? They would just like, because I never realized how much harder even roller skating is to rollerblading. Because rollerblading.
Oh, so skating's four wheels.
Well,
right?
yeah, skating's like the four, like this,
like a skateboard.
But then the rollerblade's like this long, and then the skates are like this long. So like, I tried to skate around a rollerdrome, and I'm like falling over.
Huh.
And that's why sometimes when they do the vert, they're like doing the splits, or they're like legs
and the
are
chicks
out
come
like
to my house.
Yeah.
I had like this day for my sponsor, Nobby, like his underwear sponsor, and they were like going up, and some of them were just like fully splitting and just like doing the splits on
because
the ramp
they're
just slamming, like not even making it off, and then some would like just make it off. It was wild.
Off the big lip.
Yeah.
Make sure those waivers.
Yeah, I did. I did. It was wild, but it's sick. Like. That they could even do it. But yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, man, that's crazy.
So I guess as time goes on, like when was like the 720 front flip? Like what year? Like
man, that's hard to say. But I think it would have been. I'm literally just guessing.
This guy moves fast. I don't think he.
But so I was 17,
I mean he's done so much.
Keeping track of
I was 17 when I first started. I would say I was about 20 because I don't think I was able to drink in America still.
Okay.
So I reckon I was like 20. So weird. You drink like Australia, you drink it when you're like 14 as well. And then you're legally doing it when you're like 18 and you're at the clubs. And then like you go to America 2 years after being in the like drinking at a bar, even just enjoying. Anymore. And like, nah.
So weird.
But everyone's still doing it. You're like, what is going on?
The Nitro Circus guys party hard, huh?
Pretty hard. Not as much anymore.
No.
It used to be wild back in the day, but everyone's kind of got families chilling out.
Yeah. Can only do it for so long.
Responsible.
Remember you guys were doing something in San Diego, and I think it was probably the first time I met you in real life.
Oh yeah.
And you guys were in a party in Pacific Beach, and I came and met up. Like,
Yeah,
Cash invited me, and I was
yeah.
like, "Holy fuck, these guys are crazy!" Like,
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. They're pretty wild.
Yeah, you guys were wild. I think you
hard.
like, had the whole damn like rented the whole bar or something. It
Yeah,
looked
because
like.
we have after. It's not
It was
as
an after party, yeah.
prolific, yeah. As it used to be, but like after every show, we'd have an after party. Depending if there was a show the next day, they wouldn't put one on. They wouldn't put money down, so we got free drinks. But they like people would
End of the show,
J2
weekend or
would
whatever.
just not even sleep, just go to the show and just do his best show.
He's a beast.
That guy's a beast.
That guy's a beast.
He is.
Jay's a beast.
Savage.
Seriously,
Yeah.
like so much just bike control, so much like talent, insane.
It's sick to see him get on the Australia
Yeah.
team and like
And when
make
he's
that.
with Logan, like
yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
If you hang around people like that, that's so good. Like that's when you'll see him just like he's coming to the triples,
Sick.
and like he comes second in the last one, and I just know that he's always like there to win it for sure.
He's been doing it for so long too, and he's someone that like there's a lot of guys that have that talent. You kind of think that they're gonna go away at some point after the injuries or whatever. But
Yeah.
Jay's just always just pushed through the
Yeah.
injuries, and now he's better than ever at like 31, 32.
yeah, he's
Like,
killing it.
Yeah.
respect to that dude.
Can I have another Dale?
Yeah, of course.
Jeez,
Did
this isn't a double.
Did
one,
we get
though.
new ones sent?
I went and bought some today.
All right.
Yeah, so it makes more sense to just go to the store and buy them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Then
much
make
for them
them
to
make
ship.
them send them out. So, let's talk about Tui then, because of the front bike flip it's
Tui twister?
Yeah, he kind of stole it from you, right? Like you were the first one to do it.
Yeah.
And then how does that whole thing come about?
I don't know how it came about. He just I was doing it for a whole tour. I think it was an America tour. I was doing it like the whole time, and then I think he just went back and like learnt it into the foam pit at the hot box, or maybe like whatever they had just at then, and then learnt it, and then he just got really good at it because he was I struggled to do them. That's why people are, oh, why don't you do that in your dirt run? And I'm like, I've never done it over something that small.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like
Like, it's
he
a
could do it
trick
over
that-
like a 6-foot box at this point. Yeah.
It's a trick that like I was around the person that did it. I actually learnt it with the person that did it first on scooter as well at Ramp Attack in Brisbane, and he did it on scooter. And then I'm like, this will work on BMX. I think I actually tried it the same day, and it was just like the secret to it is just to not let it go when your hands are full extended. Because if you let it go out here, which is what you want to do, you want to get as much into it. But if you let it go when it's at full extension of your hands, then you only have like a certain amount of reach. Whereas if you let it go here and it goes forward like a foot, you can still reach from here to here. It's all about trying to get the center of gravity of the bike flipping closer towards you. And then he just figured that out, and he got really good at it. I can't believe, and he did it to whip like at one of the triples, right?
Yeah.
The best trick. And like, I tried it to whip, but I suck at whips. So man, I just couldn't do it. But that's why I had
is it a running joke that it's like? It's
Oh
like
yeah,
a
yeah,
Tui?
100%.
Oh,
Even on
right.
tour, they're like the Tui twister, and like I pretend to get angry about it. It's like, no, it's sick. If there's any tricks, like if someone come out and started doing that one that I did at like the last best trick,
Yeah.
like I'd be pumped.
Yeah,
Like if
yeah.
Logan Martin wins the Olympics again with that trick the next time, because he did
Yeah.
it with the front bike flip.
That's your legacy
And I was
at this
like-
point,
I was
you
like,
know?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was Chris Doyle was like, Tui, his mate Tui taught him that, invented that trick, and I was just there like. No.
No, but that in a sense, that's your legacy. Imagine 10 years from now, somebody's doing that
I should
shit,
have
doing
named
all that stuff.
I should have just named it something like
Yeah.
funnier.
The
The Willy Whirl or something.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I'm
something
gonna
like
start
that.
every time.
Why
I
did he
make,
get to name it?
Huh?
Why did he get to name it? Why is it the
He
Tui?
didn't.
I
It was a
think-
joke.
Oh,
it's a
so
joke.
now
It's a
just
joke.
kinda-
Yeah,
yeah.
Nitro Circus. They made it a joke on tour because he did it so much,
Mm-hmm.
and he was doing like combos where I had only just done it, and then like that was it. And then he started doing like combos with it, so they were like trying to get to me, like give me grief. Like I love it because I'm
Yeah.
Australian
Yeah, yeah.
and that's what we do.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I just play along with it.
That tour's crazy. It's like you guys are just kind of always pushing each other.
Yeah, it's sick now too because they kind of like give us a little bit of freedom, and they have like a best trick contest. So you have guys like Curtis Downs, and he's doing like, I think he did, what did he do? He did like flip heel clicker No, flip like Superman heel clicker tail whip. Like the craziest combos you could ever think of.
Yeah.
He was doing flip cliffhanger to like tail whip and like just the craziest combos. And we're always just like bouncing off each other. Like Pat, especially, came on tour, did like 720 fronty whip.
Yeah.
Like, and then he did like cash roll whip to table. Just, it's so sick to have a best trick contest where we can kind of unleash. Because when it's in front of, you know, like 5,000 people, it's so much easier to land on your head in front of like 5,000 people. Whereas like in practice, or at my house, I'm like riding with 3 people. And then if I land on my head, if it's not on like a YouTube video, no one gets to see it.
Yeah.
I'd way rather like 5,000 people just watch me land on my head or land a new trick, you know?
Yeah.
Than just huck it in at my house
Get
and
that
be like,
energy going.
I'm like screaming to myself.
Yeah.
It's like a kangaroo and just like clapping and saying.
Let's talk about the road to Mega Ramp. So, but how much difference is there between that, you know, that first intro to the BMX world and Nitro on the bike to Mega Ramp? Is that 4 years, 3 years?
It was quite a while.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to make noise because I was like, I know I can like send it on this ramp.
So I remember the Austin X Games. You showed up and you tried to get up on.
I snuck.
You did.
And I did it.
You did.
And I did
do
a
it.
720.
Okay.
I snuck in
on your bike or on the scooter.
No, bike.
On a bike.
I brought my bike because the scootering, they like, MGP had like a booth and they gave us like a 1 foot. They gave us like a 1 foot mini ramp, like literally lower than my shins. And we were like, yeah, you can do a demo over there or like whatever out of the road. But I was just stoked to be at X Games. But we were doing that. And then somehow we were trying to convince them to just let me like do anything or let the scooters do anything on the park.
Yeah.
And I think they gave us 5 minutes on the park.
Brutal.
But I just like, I hucked like a double flare and landed on my ass so hard, like on this channel gap thing. And then Foster or someone who I just won't name, was like, just put on your pads and walk up with me.
Yeah.
And then I went into I remember I walked up and I just put all my, you know how we get body, we look like
full body on.
Yeah, we look like we're going into like a Roman battle or something. I just did that and I knew that the wristbands were like pink I remember this so vividly, but it was like he had a pink wristband, but it was like covered by his body armor. Yeah. So I was like, I'll just put my body armor on and walk in with my bike. They're not going to know. Mm-hmm. That's what I did. Walked in, had my body armor on, walked into like the little tent. There was like Morgan Wade, everyone chilling, and they didn't care. Yeah. They knew like, I knew them. So they're like, oh, they knew I was sweet. And then...
had you jumped the Mega Ramp at all before?
No, I've never rode a Mega Ramp in my whole life. That was the first time.
Brakeless, right?
Yep.
Yeah, all right.
And then I just dropped... I remember I thought I was going to get kicked off straight away. So I just dropped in and did I tried a 7 fronty. And I think I crashed the first one. It was a small gap because I wasn't hitting the big one yet. And then so I tried 7 fronty in the first one and like kind of I think I under rotated. And then I went up quickly. Second one, I did 7 fronty and like over rotated, fell. Like not really, didn't get hurt or anything. And then the third one, I did a 7 fronty, landed it, and then like got a bunch of my foot in the wheel and just did like a 3 foot air. Yeah. And then I was like, I'm going because I was like, I don't want to get kicked out. Like I don't want to catch me. Like I wanted to just get that footage so that after I could post it, I can be like, look what I did. Like after the fact rather than during, because I wanted to see X Games because my first X Games I've ever seen. Yeah. As well. So I snuck in and just did the 7 front. You can actually find it on YouTube.
Which one?
If you type in MGP Scooters X Games, and then it's like at the end, MGP Scooters X Games, yeah. And yeah, I just wanted to prove it because that was at the point where everyone was like, "You can't do this trick to wood," and I'm like, "Dude, I can. I promise you."
Ryan Williams and Mad Gear X Games 2015.
Yep. And then just click towards the end.
Let me make sure.
Like even more. Oh, this is gonna be like. That was when they gave us 5 minutes to like ride scooters on it. But yeah, were you in that one?
Yeah,
you were in that one. Yeah,
that course.
Just maybe
fun.
Click through a little bit. Oh, maybe this is gonna be me trying to double flare. Oh no, 545.
Yeah, that course was sick. It was like a giant mini.
But yeah, here we go. Look, this I just snuck in. I had my body vest on, full face. No one even knew that I was there. Boom, 720
You look
fronty.
like just like a Mega Ramp, right?
Yeah.
Just full brakes. Oh well, didn't even go over coping.
Is that the first time you hit a giant quarter?
But no, yeah, I'd never ridden. But I knew. You know what I wanted
For
to
the
do.
first time ever hitting
I
that.
wanted a front flare. I knew my run before I even did it. And
Even in 2015.
Yep.
Crazy.
I knew that's exactly what I was going to do. I was going to 720 fronty to front flare, and I always was going to do it. And then eventually, I mean, I think I did front bike flip the front flare, but
Yeah. So 2015, when was your first actual X Games?
Minnesota, right?
no, Australia.
Australia, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
China.
Minneapolis.
Yeah,
Minneapolis,
Oh.
and I fell in practice and like fractured my spine.
Oh.
And then, but I didn't get. They had an X-ray at the. I'll tell a story. So, got invited finally. Oh my gosh, this is the biggest.
Well, so
moment
hold
of
on.
my
Let's
life.
let's
Okay.
rewind because then there was a year or two gap.
Yeah.
And then you posted something
At the
like
Mega Ranch,
that.
yeah.
Would like you may even said it like X Games let me in or something like
Yeah,
that, right?
you know what? Because I was always saying like, I was like, please let me in. Like, why won't you give me an invite? And
Yeah.
like for me, I realized that this is why eventually I made the video, because I realized
What,
that I
that
was
video? Or
No,
like a-
not that one.
yeah.
That one was just like being a rebel.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually I was like, hey, like something hit myself was like, oh, I have to make a video.
Yeah.
Because what I was thinking was they were just letting me in. Like, let me go. Let me just compete. But I didn't think about if they invite me, they don't invite someone else.
Yeah.
So it's like, why would they take someone else's opportunity and give it to me when I don't even have proof that I can ride the ramp other than that, which is like, they and even when I got in, they were like, you can't ride the quarter pipe. But
Yeah, it is like a two-piece
yeah.
to the puzzle,
Yeah.
and you only did one trick, so they're like,
and I was kind of like blinded because I was doing so much at Nitro. I was like, I know I can do these tricks, but I didn't think about taking someone else's spot. And as soon as I thought about it like that, I'm like, okay, put in the work, like go to the Mega Ranch, because there was finally a Mega Ramp that I could ride.
"Where's the Mega Ranch?
It's in Melbourne. And then I was like, there's finally.
Who has that?"
He's like a pro golfer, and his Kiefer is his son, Kiefer Wilson, and Kiefer Wilson rode X Games, I believe. But he just made it for his son because he's like
Wow.
a pro golfer.
Damn.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. But anyway, I went there with just like the idea of, I know I can do my gap trick, so just do a gap trick and then do something on the quarter, like air it substantially. And I think I went there and did like, I don't know, I think it was like at least a 12-foot like flare or over 10-foot like flare on the quarter, but with a trick before it that was like good. And then they got me. I got an invite. It was sick.
Yeah, because I think there was
That is what you got to do. Show
Was there?
'em.
Was
Yeah,
there, and I
and
feel like it was a
I'll-
3-year process. So you had the Rebel run, and then I think you had
it was a
something
long
where it was
time.
like in between, where it was like you posted something, and I remember like I
Yeah.
mean like Foster or something was like even commented like, "Hey, dude, you gotta fucking ride the court. You have
Yeah.
to. It's a 2-part thing, like
And I
that
was
type of
like-
thing." And then you made that video.
Yeah.
yeah.
And the thing that made me realize was just the fact, like when I was talking to X Games and saying like, give me an invite, I wasn't thinking about taking someone's spot.
Yeah,
and I didn't
right.
even think about it because I was like oblivious to like how it worked really. And I just thought, just add me in. Like, even if I'm just an extra and I'll just do it. And then I never got it. And then I'm like, well, I'm taking someone's spot. And then I knew it even more once I did get invited, because there was people that were like, how do you get invited? And I'm like, oh yeah, well, you got to make a video and prove that you can do it. So it's
But
like,
that's so hard for people because
Oh,
where
yeah.
do you? I mean, you have Mega Ranch by pure luck, and you were
Yeah,
a notable
what was-
person to get in there. Like
Yeah.
it's such an impossible thing.
You
for
could,
like,
it's not impossible anymore, but it's just so dangerous too.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a lot of risk. The Mega Ramp is just, it's not something you really ride for fun unless you're Morgan Wade, right?
fair point.
Like, and
Actual facts.
legit.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's when every time I drop in for that contest, it feels like I'm ready to die.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna. I could die now, and it really feels like you're
Yeah.
gonna die. You
Yeah.
could die, and you could. But yeah. And then I got invited, and then Minneapolis, I was just so ready to do like what I knew I could do, and I think I did some practice. Where did I practice? I didn't even practice front flare actually.
Well, how scary
just knew
was
I
the
could do
quarter?
it.
Like what was that process? Was
It's
it
so
even,
scary. It's like
yeah.
probably the scariest ramp that exists.
Yeah.
Even the jump, because the jump like is not that hard, the gap, but if you go left or right, there's no nets. It's
Yeah.
like and that was like the scariest thing when I did the flip drop, Just
Yeah.
it's a bit of a tangent. It wasn't the fact that it was like a flip drop. It was the fact that if I didn't land it properly, you would turn off. There's no net. You're already, and the landing's
high.
like 30 feet high.
Yeah.
30 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
So if you fall,
You're done.
You're not falling because when you jump the mega ramp, you're not going that high. You're like maybe 12 foot, 15 foot above.
Yeah, as long as you get to the landing, it's relatively safe.
If you don't land on the landing, you fall 45 feet.
Yeah.
But it'd be really hard to. But when you're doing a flip drop for your first time, you don't know
Brakeless.
how you're gonna land straight.
Yeah,
But
that's what I was thinking when you did that. I was like,
So,
that
yeah.
was so fucked.
it was so scary. And then the quarter, you just got to go slowly figure it out. And then I got carried away. I did like my first bike flip over the big gap, landed it, didn't get any brakes. I didn't even put my foot in the wheel, and then I just rode the thing off, and then just popped out. Like I think I just went like this, like the tiny like that, and I went out the flat, landed sitting down on my ass, and I was like, oh my god, I thought I'd shit my pants because you hit your ass so hard that
was in the contest. I remember that.
No, this was practice.
Oh,
I did
saw
fall
you
in. I did fall
contest.
in.
You landed flat one time.
I
too,
folded.
pretty good.
Yeah, I fell when I did the front flare, but I just aired it in practice, landed on my ass, felt like shit myself, and then I was like, something's wrong. And then they were like, oh, we're gonna get you some X-rays just to make sure you're all right, because I was like, my back's like something wrong with my back. They got an X-ray, but they use like the one that's portable at the venue because they're like they had it there, and they're like, yep, stay still. They took video, some X-rays, and they're like, we can't really see through your ribs. We don't see anything. If there's any pain, just come back. This is my first exams. I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back. And then anyway, the competition starts. I do my first run, and I don't know if I did 720 fronty or a front bike flip, and then I just did like a 1 foot like table thing, just because I wanted to get like the one run heebie-jeebies out of the way. And then second run, I did front bike flip, or I think I did 7 fronty. I don't know what it was my first one, but then front flare, and no one had like, Kagi had front flare, and that was the Austin I was at. So I seen Kagi break both of his heels doing front flare, but he was only doing it.
Oh, I forgot about that.
He was in practice, so he just did one in practice. But the problem with the ramp is, if you pop it all, and it's almost easier to like pop more when you're going slow on a front flare, because when you front flare, you like dive into the quarter, and I feel like that's what kind of helps me stay against the quarter, is because I like just front flip and like lean into it. So he goes slow, does it, pops out, lands like near the flat, breaks both of his heels. I hear him screaming. That was terrifying to watch. Anyway, second run, I drop in, do
his
it.
career.
I don't know.
Pretty much, yeah.
I drop in and I just I do it, and it was all sweet. It felt so good. I'm like, I'm gonna land this, and I land like halfway down, but the pressure's so bad that I just like crumble, and my foot like, you do the thing where you like so much pressure on your pedals, but on my toes are kind of pointed. So I like so much pressure, slip. Like, 'cause I got plastic pedals maybe too. Slip and like jab my toe into the ground, and I'm like, oh my god, if something's happened here. Anyway, I do my next runs, and I crashed every front flare. And I was like, at least I proved that I could.
Yeah, that was the year all 3 front flare crashes.
Yeah, crashed them.
Dude, but there was so much love for you, I felt like.
Yeah, and that was the year also that Foster did bar triple down.
Yeah.
So it was like, even if I did land it, like that run.
That was one of the best runs ever.
20 feet
Was
out.
it flip trip? Oh, was that the one he only did Superman?
Maybe,
Yeah, I think it was when Morgan's full run was maybe crazier, because he did like the one-handed
Bar-
double whip 20.
bar triple
the
down
bar triple down whip was the
is
most
like-
fucked up quarter trick ever.
I reckon between the one-handed double, I think one-handed double just is its own realm of trick, and how high Morgan did it was.
But Morgan did a crazy ass trick on the jump too. That was like
Yeah.
where it was kind of weird. Where
so hard to find all this stuff.
James did like a shitty Superman C grab, and then like
Is
the
he
best quarter pipe trick ever done. So it was like,
It was
dude, this year was crazy.
It was 2018, right?
They need to
Yeah.
bring the real Mega Ramp back for BMX. It's like the best thing in X Games.
Hopefully it comes back.
Yeah, now that I got 20-foot quarters at my house,
Yeah, yeah.
I got some things going
Do you know,
on.
do you know anything about if they're bringing the like actual Mega Ramp back?
No.
No.
Nah, like only I got invited to Japan for the park best trick.
They're not doing it there. They don't do Mega Ramp at Japan.
No, there's no.
I don't even know if they're going to do it anymore. I really hope they do, because I feel like it's like a staple of X Games.
Yeah.
I really think that that's what I got on ESPN. I didn't even land. First year I did it, this one, like I didn't even land a run other than my first one, which was nothing. But I got like ESPN top 2 moment just for the backflip.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like I feel like for action sports to get up there, and that just proves how awesome the mega ramp is.
Yeah.
I think they could make a better mega ramp with a better jump, and then like
Oh my god.
even a smaller
Oh fuck, that was scary.
like something like I nearly got that though, but yeah.
Damn, you almost landed that.
I kicked my shoe across the building. Look. But it was sick because I felt like, okay, I'd proved that I was like, I was meant to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people were questioning,
Yeah.
just like you said. Like, I think that would have been the one where you were like, this guy's going to kill
Probably,
himself.
yeah.
And the fact that it was at, just as I happened to pause it, it was at 18 feet. Because a lot of the controversy with Big
wow.
Air that we know over the years.
That must have
is
been the top of my wheels.
Maybe, yeah. Put the sensor right in the valve caps.
But I know in China, they didn't even have a measuring.
I know,
And I reckon
I know.
yeah.
that's
when I went 18.
The China one was like, holy fuck, this is
Yeah.
real, you know? And you
Yeah.
pulled it first try because it was
Yeah.
because it was all three. We were just like, from the outside looking in,
Yeah.
it was like, is it
And you
going to be?
remember they gave Vince, because I did my run, and it was the second last run. Vince
I have.
Vince overtook me.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
he did it,
China?
and he beat me by 0.33.
Wow.
And then I had one run left because I was like
Yeah,
chilling.
here's-
I'm like, yes, I did it. Like I did my run. That was my perfect run because it was my run that I planned to do.
So there's bronze.
We can watch, yeah. Foster. Ooh. Thanks, Dales.
Dude.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
4. Jeez.
It's pretty crazy that they can even be consistent with like that. That ramp is.
Well, the crazy thing about James is he doesn't.
Hey, eat that Tui Twister. What's it? This is my
The crazy thing about
second
James
run.
is that he just doesn't. He doesn't ever practice any of that. It's literally
Yeah.
all he practices it mental.
See, I was
Really?
the
Never-
reason I did
never.
that. The reason I did the no-handed. I had never done that before, like suicide no-hander.
Yeah.
I did
Oh
that because
my
in my first run, I
God.
landed the trick that I wanted to do. Like I did the fronty inward, and then I did a front flare, and it was like at a decent height,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm sweet. Like I don't think I'm gonna
Oh
have
yeah,
to.
here's the first double whip. We all lost $100
Yeah.
on that one.
Yeah.
Gained so much.
Yeah.
But
Why'd you lose
We paid
$100?
for
because
it.
we paid for it.
We paid for
Oh.
it.
Yeah, like
so everyone should thank us for paying Morgan
Yeah.
Way to do that. But
Morgan-
then he just couldn't stick that freaking.
Michael brought it up, and then I saw Morgan wince. And when you ever see Morgan wince,
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
So I had done my run, and then I'm like, this is sweet. So he did that, and then did a 540 flare, which is just,
my
I don't
so
know how you do
savage.
that. Did I try to do that to my airbag off my 20-foot quarter? It's so hard.
God, that moment right there where you're coming around,
And he beats me by 0.33.
Vince Byron is a crazy character in BMX because
Yeah.
he could win a vert gold medal and a mega ramp
Yeah.
gold medal, but they don't have those contests ever.
Yeah.
And he just like probably works construction.
yeah,
It's fucking crazy.
So anyway, I'm up there,
Just has-
and he beats me by 0.33. So I know that if I do the same run but faster and bigger, then I will probably like get a better score.
Dude.
So that's where I was like, I am just not going to touch my brakes. I'm going to do the same run.
Oh
but
my
I'm
God.
just not even going to touch my
he
brakes.
blows feet off.
my
Didn't he land foot jam? Yeah, he
Yeah.
foot jams and fronties.
Yeah,
Yeah, and this is, I was like,
Oh, you won this one.
I'm
This
not
is
gonna,
the first one,
So I'm like,
yeah.
I'm not
Oh
going
my
to touch
God.
my brakes, and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm going to go so high right now.
Oh my God.
so
And then
perfect.
it's so
though.
smooth,
Oh my God.
dude. That one, I was freaking out.
I don't think I've ever seen
Well,
this.
you know,
like all
people,
these
I bet you
runs.
people don't think about this, but I'm in China, dude. Like
Yeah.
you're risking it in China,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think about that.
right? And like, and
That's why I don't even know. I didn't think you guys went this hard in China. I don't know if I've seen all
I
this.
had to.
Well, I want to see what you said right
Vince,
there.
man, I think I swear. I'm like,
So
I'm
Vince
like,
got into first.
I'm like, no effing
Here we can watch it. We can
brakes.
watch this whole thing again.
I'm like, no effing brakes. Yeah, well, because it was the fourth run.
You're
So-
allowed. You're allowed to swear in this context. I know right
that's-
here you're not going to.
Just in
but
case. But I'm like, no effing brakes.
Oh my God, that was nice.
Right, that was probably my favorite one, my favorite win, because Morgan and Michael came up to me after that, and they were like
That high five, you remember?
They gave me the
Yeah.
props
High
because
five.
they were like,
That was your mega ramp high five. Like,
that
you're
was,
in, dude.
Yeah,
You're the
that
one.
was at height.
man.
That was at a substantial height for Morgan and Michael.
Yeah.
I remember I was at the after party and I was just like DNMing with them because I was just I was like, that was for you guys. I was thinking about you guys. No breaks.
I can only imagine your state of mind. You know, actually, your state of mind after this, you were fucking.
Yeah, I would mean.
He was in full nitro party mode after that. Yeah, it was.
On. Well, that's like. Because at that
I even
moment,
think the next day you were just still going.
Well, that's my second X Games gold medal too. Like that was
Was this the first? This is the first
second.
one.
So Australia was first.
Australia was first. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Australia mega ramp.
Yeah.
Right.
It was
okay.
like,
So Minneapolis 3 falls. Australia win on the home,
dude.
and then China, and then
Minneapolis was a third.
All
So
right.
It's crazy they do all the random X
streak.
Games in different countries.
I know.
Like they do.
Yeah, COVID killed that.
Right? Yeah. 'Cause there was
I didn't really mind. I like it. Like people, I remember because I was like saying, because I obviously did Australia and then won China, and I was on a high after China. And then I knew like Minneapolis was like the main one, like that's the big one, you know? And I was like, this could be, because I don't, what I heard was like no one had won 3 consecutive mega ramp golds. Like it always would be like someone would win 2 and then they wouldn't win. And it was like a curse.
Yeah,
like
so that was the year I interviewed you for X Games, because I was when I first started ourbmx, and I was like, I don't know if this shit's gonna work. And X Games hit me up about doing some like researcher role, and I was like, I am saying yes to every single dollar that comes my way. So I actually worked for X Games in the production department while making videos for my thing and shooting photos for Monster and working for X Games, and I was fucking strung out. But so I interviewed you for that, and that was the running theme for that was that, you know, it was a curse. Like 5, like Kagi, Foster, Vince, who else was it? Maybe somebody else.
I'm not sure. Maybe Colton. I don't know.
Maybe Colton. It was Colton.
Yeah.
All had won two
in a row.
2 golds in a row, and then lost the third one. And so he was coming in, and there was the curse, the big air triple curse. You know. So.
And I was like, what am I gonna do? Well, because I always have like the gap trick. I can always like do some different gap tricks, but I'm like, what can I do to just like solidify?
Yeah, you were strong on the gap. Somebody like Foster is strong on the quarter, and not so strong on the gap. And this is when
Morgan and Michael was starting to do tricks in.
Yeah,
and that's where I was like, bro, it didn't really count.
His impression.
Yeah,
but it didn't count.
Yeah,
it was like a weird thing.
Which I don't know. Like they should definitely
should count.
You wouldn't have. You probably wouldn't have won without that. Without the flip in.
No way.
Yeah.
No
so
way.
that would have been very hard
Definitely
for the viewer to at home to be like, wait, so that guy that did that on the way in didn't beat that guy.
Yeah.
You know.
No,
so,
that counts.
Yeah.
It's just an extra thing.
I think I have
just
it here.
Extra
and
points.
Then, that was where.
This is
sick.
This I wanted to talk. I wanted to talk about this too, because
Lewis Mills, Ryan Mills.
Ryan Mills.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ryan Mills as well.
You know, Lewis Mills is it? I know it's this. Don't worry, it's a different Lewis Mills that I was thinking of. My other mate from Caloundra Skate Park. He's a street rider.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's another street rider, a BMX street rider named Lewis Mills.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Not like a big.
Yeah. I remember asking Lewis, I was like, did you really make that sign? He's like, fuck yeah, I love him. And I was
I'll
like,
tell you a story about Ryan Mills. It's funny.
Lewis Mills.
Wait, Lewis Mills. I had it right the first time. Now I'm thinking of Ryan Mills, the freaking one from lives
Vegas.
in Vegas.
Yeah.
Sorry, too many Mills. Too many Mills.
Too many Dales.
Anyway, the first time I met him was we did the Australian, because he's Australian, obviously.
Yeah.
We did the PR in Australia, and he picked me up in like this little dingy ass car, like full of stuff and just like super dingy car. But he was just the maddest dude, and I had never met him, and he was just like so nice to me. And then we did the PR, and then he ended
PR?
up.
Sorry, I'm not.
Like public relations, like
public
relations, like so it's like just news and stuff. Like when you do PR, it's like
for X Games or for
X Games.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, all right.
So they organize it, and then he picked me up because he had a car and he lived in Sydney. And then we went to X Games, and he like won his first.
Yeah.
Was it silver or gold?
He won.
No, it was
silver.
silver.
Alex
silver.
won.
Yeah.
He won silver.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? That's so sick. It was so
So that's the first time you met him.
So everything, that was the first impression of Mills, and like, oh, dude, he's just a legend, and he still to this day like messaged me on Instagram, and he's super homie, and that's pretty crazy because he's like a street lord, right?
Yeah.
But he's like the nicest guy. And that's where I'm
so rad.
It just reiterates like the fact that the people like at the top are just like they're just super nice people.
Well,
no matter what you do.
I was seeing like from my perspective, I thought it was like, you know, and I feel like everybody was coming around to you at this point anyways, but I felt like having that and like seeing that, I was like, dude, that is fucking sick. Like, you know, because Mills is like one of the coolest. Now, I wouldn't call him necessarily like core because he's, you know, I feel like it's just a weird word in general, but like he is street riding personified these days. And he made a sign for you for fucking X Games Big Air. I just thought it was such a cool thing.
I love that, like halfway, I mean, if you're going to play the video, but halfway through it, because when Morgan lands his run, he like changes, he's like, I want Morgan to win now. This is before I've done my second run. And you know what? Morgan doing his second run, you have to play it too. Don't play it. Just play before that if you got.
Is this? I think
this is my trick, but play Morgan's because
no.
This is my one, yeah. I'm saying play. No, but I think Lewis. I think not Lewis. I think Morgan Wade's run was just before me. Yeah, and this is what made me do what I was, because I had like a few runs planned. I'm like, I wanted to get a certain run down before I go on flip drop. All right. Because
let's see what he says here. Oh, sorry, audio's a little.
Oh, I don't have my mic. It is on. I'm like.
Oh yeah, sorry.
It's fine. You've been talking fine. It's just like,
you've been
great.
great.
If you're not like.
Yeah. This is it.
Yeah.
Right? Double it. Dude.
Ooh.
Dude. Look at the height on it. It's crazy, dude.
Wow, that was one of the best runs ever.
I think he says it. No, this is it. My bad. Is it? Or is this
I think
angle?
it's the same because I think we had two angles.
I swear he said something like, "No, I want
everything
Lewis
was
to win. I want
perfect.
Morgan to win now." Dude, I'm drinking 2 beers and now I'm saying people's names wrong.
Yeah, it was that 9%. It was that 9% one.
That was amazing.
But your family is there too, right?
Yeah, my dad and my mom.
Oh no,
my dad, my mom. Yeah, look.
Oh, you said you have to take it down.
Yeah, right. I'm taking it down or whatever. But anyway, I seen Morgan Wade do that run, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna. I can't do my like.
Oh my god!
I can't do my.
This is an animal.
Yeah, I can't do my second best run. Like this is not gonna be enough. I just have to do like balls to the wall. Let's go, Dave Mirra.
God.
Because Dave Mirra was the first guy I seen do a flip drop at Do Tour off that like.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, let's go. It
Wow.
worked. That was my first flip drop and first and only flip drop on BMX.
Wow. Dude, that's crazy because that would have been Morgan's win right there. But that run, that run was insane. I think this was the craziest Mega Ram contest ever. The amount of stuff going.
Last one.
This was the last one. So yeah, it was the.
I mean, whatever happened this year happened, but
this was the last.
Well, that didn't. Nah.
Yeah, it doesn't
there
count,
wasn't a full Mega Ram contest because
Mini Mega.
super duper park.
After COVID, that was the
Whatever
next
it was.
thing, right?
Yeah.
The Elliott Sloan. Look at my dad.
See, that's what I mean. I feel like because I'm sure we posted it on Instagram, and it's like you winning, and then like Lewis Mills holding that sign. Like I felt like it was like such a vouch. Oh my god, that's fucking.
Dude, oh my gosh.
You had to swerve to that lip.
I think on the X,
so
I rode up about like maybe 2 inches of like the ramp. Because I landed in like a manual sitting down.
And that's your parents?
That's my dad and my mom.
Oh yeah,
going mad. My dad like he's going doing this weird. He looks like a bird or something. Woo! But I landed in like a manual sitting down because I ripped as hard as I could because I wasn't sure. The only practice I had was I put a sub box next to a foam pit and I rode off the sub box and like tried to backflip and I would just land straight on my face. But I knew that like if I had 12 foot to drop.
You get it.
Yeah. So I was like, I just ripped as hard as I could.
Was that 12 feet?
No, I don't know. It depends how far down you go, but I just like ripped as fast as I could. And then by the time I saw around...
And you hadn't pulled a run yet either, huh?
No, I crashed my first run.
Oh, so that was only second run.
Yeah. So you see, I pull as hard as I can. And I kind of not dead pulled, but then come around, open up.
Manual.
And it's pretty steep. And then I do like the shimmy. Like that shimmy is the only thing that got me over. And if you look to the left or right of the ramp, there's no net, and you would literally just you would either do the biggest street wall ride ever or like splat on the ground.
Or even if you like hit one of the lips on the corner.
Oh yeah, you would not be good.
I think this angle you kind of see it a
there's
little bit
so
better.
much props for
I
that.
swear I went up 2 inches over the side of the
You are
ramp.
far left on that kicker.
Fuck.
See, I even get scared. So in practice, what we do is we go on top of the landing, we just pedal in. But when you're standing on top of the landing, like if you tipped over, you would fall 30 feet.
Yeah.
down. Like, there's no like safety net to stop you from falling.
You're up high.
So what was the deal beforehand? Because when, again, the researcher role and the storyline and all that stuff, when I was like talking to Scotty, I was like, I think he's going to front flip. And then I'm like, but also maybe backflip. So like you literally didn't know what you were going to do until, because I think I even talked to you. You're like, are you going to front flip or backflip? You're like, front flip. But I don't know. Like,
Yeah, I decided to backflip for Dave Mirra because that was like he inspired me to do that. I think I could front flip easier than what I can backflip. Backflip drop has never been like, even on scooter, it's like I can backflip or drop on scooter. That's kind of like what gave me the confidence to just try it. But front flips have always been easier for me on everything. But yeah, I just wanted to do it for Dave Mirra because I remember that the video, like you can probably pull it up, the Dew Tour backflip from Dave Mirra. That was the first backflip I ever seen.
Yeah.
And I was like,
one.
I feel like this is important. I feel like this is like a stable. I feel like this will make a statement. If this is going to be the first time someone wins 3 golds in a row, I need to like, stamp it down.
I see what you're saying.
Give me a reason. Like do something special.
above reproach. Like so nobody could say like
I think that you still can and ah because like Morgan went higher than me on the quarter, and some people argue that the quarters means more, and
it's hard, dude, because like a double whip and a flip, pretty similar.
Yeah,
and then your guys' jump trick, 3 no-hander backflip and the front flip bike.
I think that now,
and then front flip flare and a one-hand double whip.
Now the bike flip isn't worth as much. Back then I was doing it when I think Tui was like the only one doing it when I did that.
Yeah.
I think that now.
So at the time, I think, that was better than the Morgan's trick.
People definitely rated the bike flip higher.
And then the quarter trick's hard to say because like no one does Morgan's, but no one also front flip flares. So it's so close, dude.
I'm always of the opinion where it's like, or like that guy won, and I'm like, that makes sense. And then you go, oh, that guy won. You're like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That means it was a good contest.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a good contest.
Yeah, it was.
Man.
It was. And then so your third run was just chilling, or because I remember
front flare invert.
Front flare invert.
Yeah, I mixed it up, but I didn't go as high, and I didn't flip drop. Once I did that, I was like, this is it. Like, I feel like this is my run. That's what I wanted to do. I don't think I was going to be able to do much better. And then we got the ladder out, some sort of WWE match or something, and they got me to hold it. Like, it was just so random. How cool was that? Part?
Just getting Morgan.
Yeah, lean forward, brother. What are you doing? That was wild.
I think that I was like, at least it shows you can fall on it and survive,
Yeah.
But
I think if Vince could land those 720 fronties and then do the 540 flare, that'd be hard to beat.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vince is unreal.
But then I show him how to do a 7 fronty. But this is I just think I just did a safety run.
Yeah, you have the front flip flares dialed this year.
But then I felt I was just like, I got to try something new just to make it like.
Oh, was this a year? Is this his fall?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go forward.
Dude, Foster does have.
No, that was probably not his fault if we didn't.
Foster's got a gnarly.
He was just before
run.
me, and I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Zach.
I don't.
The tandem.
The tandem.
This is Colton. Wait, did Colton fall as well? I can't remember.
Yeah,
I don't think he pulled anything.
There's a tandem. This is sick. This is like crazy, like because this is the height they go. This is what they do in practice, just like for fun. They probably even go bigger than that, to be honest, too.
So I guess that's a good thing to talk about because when Morgan was on the podcast, he was giving you credit in that sense of like that there's two teams when it comes to Mega Ramp. There's the serious I am just straight flipping and airing the quarter, and then I will do my trick, and then I am going to leave.
Yeah,
and then there's the other team that is there as much as they can be, and just having fun and fucking around, and you were part of that squad. And
Yeah,
Morgan.
I think that I'm probably both squads, but I'm definitely just chill. Like I'm having fun. I'm at X Games riding my BMX bike. So, but I'm definitely not like airing 20 foot just for fun, because to me that ramp is like so scary. You definitely have to get used to it. Like if I was to ride it now, maybe that now that I have my quarters, I could like kind of play around on it, really have fun. But I was really just trying not to hurt myself as well, because you know you're gonna send it in the contest, and you want to like. I got my whole family there. You know, you want to make it to the contest, so I'm not doing front flares in practice.
Yeah.
I'm just airing the quarter to feel it out. Like I'm trying to get like do 10 to 15 foot airs, but yeah, I'm smiling because I'm having fun, and I'm learning to jump in. Like I just learned to like the jump into the ramp. That was super fun.
What, you didn't just flip drop it?
No.
Nice.
I jumped into it a few times because I needed to know if I jump in, if I flip drop, how fast am I going to be going? Because I don't have brakes.
Yeah.
So I was making sure that if I did do something in, do I have the right speed to just go? You know.
What do you think would have happened if you hit the 50 footer? If you couldn't carve?
I would have just like aired to like real deep, real deep.
You wouldn't have landed flat though.
Not flat, not totally flat. The bank is so long that.
Would you have still tossed the bike, done the trick?
I would have still tried probably. Imagine that.
Is the lip at X Games like versus Nitro Circus totally different?
Oh my gosh! Like so, that's why I think they could do a better job with like just creating something that gives you best of both worlds. It's hard because the more up you go, the slower you go forward. But I feel like if the quarter's just not 27 foot and more like Elliot's, you could still get like a really high air, like at least 15 foot air, and have like a nicer jump where you could actually do some crazy stuff. So like, because Morgan, I know he has like some crazy tricks that no one else has ever done. Like he did like a nothing Superman backflip at Nitro Circus.
Oh yeah.
And like he has tricks that he could do that no one else can do. And then he could do like something on the quarter. And then that would just open up so much more for other people, like even like Jay Tui to do something crazy. And then he's also really good at air in the quarter. So I feel like it just opens up a better scope of tricks.
Yeah, it could almost be like a cheaper ramp too.
Yeah,
if
it is
was
way
just for
cheaper.
BMX, just do like what about like a
huge.
giant land, like Mega or Nitro Circus
Nitro
style
to a
with long
longer landing, but
and
it's
then
like steep still, and
Yeah.
then straight into a 20-foot quarter. You're laughing.
Because that's
mate.
a skateboard ramp, like so many other things that
Yeah.
BMXers just kind of got
Yeah.
good at.
Yeah.
And stole the show.
Exactly.
Like it happens.
And then you won the super duper park. I can't remember.
Yeah, that was a weird one, but
at Elliot's house.
I feel like because you couldn't go really huge on the quarters, it kind of like gave me a little bit of a help there.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to make sure I did like a good size air with a trick on the first quarter, and then the last one was kind of like you couldn't get that much speed.
Yeah.
That's why I think that like Elliot's ramp is a good idea. It's a great idea, and it's sick. Like it's insane for what it is. But I think there's a better ramp that you could make. You know, that could travel. That can actually be in, you know, like the Honda Center.
Yeah.
And you can make a legit X Games that's insane. And then you'll get like, you could even have a triple backflip into an air. Like imagine that.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be this like, what is that ramp? $300,000 to set up or
I don't
something
know.
crazy. It's just
Yeah,
insane. How much
insane.
skate
Yeah.
lights on it. It's like that thing is just so overkill.
It's worth it though if you just want to do it.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
keep
no,
riding it.
it's super sick. It's the best show in X Games, I think. So
switching gears a little bit.
they already got the ramp.
So you are taking off in BMX. 3X Games medals. You have sponsors, Hyper, Snafu on the BMX side. What's happening on the scooter side?
Still just like I have my own, like make my own signature scooter, and then I ride both on tour with Nitro Circus, but I'm not doing any like scooter tours or scooter like things other than like hanging out, like doing stops with kids or going to a contest and like just hanging out, not really competing.
Are you kind of like a legend status at this point? Is there like dudes that are pushing
Maybe, I don't
that
know.
world? I don't know. Like
Maybe. I guess like because I've done a lot of like tricks that I was the first person to do and kind of like push scootering, and it's kind of trippy to see because like I was the first person to do a 540 flare, and like I seen a spick twist, and that's how I knew to do a 540.
What was it?
A spick twist.
Okay.
Really? I know.
I mean, being in San Diego, that sounds kind of
Spick twist.
kind of racist.
Oh really? No,
Yeah,
that's
it's a
what
racist term.
Sorry, but anyway, that's the 540 flare on BMX at Woodward to the Resi from the vert ramp.
Oh,
You seen that trick?
It's a what? 540 flare.
maybe don't.
Yeah,
540 flare BMX. The first ever 540 flare on BMX was done on the Woodward half pipe to the resi.
Oh, okay.
And that's where I like got the 540 flare idea to do on scooter. And then now, like 540 flare, there's probably a thousand scooter kids that can do a 540 flare.
That's crazy.
And it's kind of the same thing that happened on BMX.
Yeah.
It's just what like, and the reason why I'm saying this is that like I just managed to be the first person to do a lot of like those tricks. Like
That's crazy. The first person to do that on a scooter.
Yeah.
So I wonder who was the first person. Were you the first person to do it on a BMX too?
No, I just told you the guy that did it. He called it that word that I don't want to say just in case it's rude. He did it at Woodward.
Yeah, Mick Twist.
Nah.
Oh, I don't know. Okay. Yeah,
Try. No, Mick Twist is a skateboard.
Yeah.
Just type world's first 540 flare on BMX. It probably won't come up because it was like
that's crazy. And then you,
old.
on the Waffle Cup, you jumped in best trick with board shorts after like swimming in the ocean and did a 5 flare.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, you could just do that trick, but you invented that trick.
On the scooter.
On a scooter though, but like that motion on a quarter pipe.
Oh yeah, at the Vans thing, right?
The Vans Waffle Cup,
Another Rebel run.
Yeah, just Rebel ran. It was so sick, just in board shorts.
I was hungover as well, and I was riding Andy Buckworth's bike.
Yeah, it was so sick.
In shorts and no shirt.
Killed it.
I mean, stuff like that. How can you not be a fan?
It was
amazing. Fan of them,
everyone
you know,
so
like whatever. Like if you really look at the scenario,
it
you're
was
like,
amazing.
oh, that's so.
I had to jump the
hilarious.
fence because I couldn't get in.
Did you have a helmet on?
They wouldn't let me. I borrowed someone's helmet off the floor.
You didn't even know whose it was.
Well, because I was riding with no helmet, but I didn't want to do a 540 flare with no helmet.
I think you were doing the warrant. Yeah, you were like getting used to
I was
the bike
doing the
without-
flare. I think I didn't have a helmet on when I did the flare. And then I was like, oh, if I'm going to 540 flare, I'm going to wear a helmet.
That was
too
awesome.
good.
On Andy Buckworth's bike, so it was just like completely different to mine.
Yeah, look, I gave you. You're in the thumbnail.
Hey, let's go.
Oh, where are you?
Oh, Trey. Trey's.
Yeah, God, Trey.
Belly flop out.
That
of
went
the
so
contest.
viral. Grim.
One more piss for me.
Dude, I could do a P2.
Let's do it.
Yeah, go for it.
You go first.
Yeah, I'll look for this clip.
Right there. Yeah.
Yeah, straight ahead. Oh, they're doing this again.
Dan's isn't sponsoring the whole like US Open thing anymore. That was amazing. But they're gonna do Van Doren's doing like a big BMX contest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, something like this.
They're building a course and everything?
Yeah.
Like, kind of like how the
Hopefully
skate.
it's all
Hopefully they do it like they did this with the skate course. Like, I thought that was cool. They switched it to for the skaters and stuff.
Remember you were like, dudes like Johnny though, like, you know, like when are they gonna come up? And I was like, nah, I feel like 3 months later he's like,
Nah, but I mean, like,
still
yeah.
going,
Like,
doing it.
you're right. You're right.
You're right too though. Like,
This company.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go. Pink hubs. Fruit salad pants. I mean shorts. And my underwear sticking out the bottom. That's a great look. Yeah, I just thought.
Oh, forgot to switch the title there. Been lost.
No, that was me. Bottom foot.
You switched outfits as soon as you.
Dude, this competition was sick.
It was nuts. It was such a wild event.
Yeah,
like filming.
right.
I'm surprised I didn't get killed.
Being
just
on the
filming,
course,
filming. Yeah. But I guess like on the scooter side, has that slowed down at all? Like in the sense of like, because I mean, I remember that there was times where you were like posting like my brand new signature scooter, blah, blah, blah. And I haven't like seen that stuff for a little bit, but
Yeah, no, I still like at the skate park, to be honest, I still prefer to ride a scooter.
Yeah.
But I'll bring both.
Yeah.
And then I'll just ride like whatever I kind of feel like riding. But I'm at the point where on a scooter, I can like try things more technical and like a little bit bigger at a skate park. Mm-hmm. Then on BMX, I'm like pushing it to like I wouldn't say, I've never 720 to spine. I've never maybe I would, but I've never really, I've never really like on BMX. I'm just out there like doing the things that I really like enjoy doing, like 360s and just flowing Caloundra skate park.
Yeah,
because it's like bowls, and that's all I've ever ridden on BMX. Whereas scooter, I kind of can like grind a rail, and I can do like really technical grinds on a rail. And I prefer to do that sometimes just because there's a little bit less danger in it, so I can like really play around with it. Whereas on a BMX bike, I'm not it's like I'm 5 years ahead on a scooter in experience, and I can feel it. You know, when I'm at a skate park, I feel that. So I can't play as much as what I do on a scooter as I can on a bike without feeling a little bit more in danger.
Yeah, I understand.
But then on BMX, I don't even ride my scooter barely at my house onto my jump because like it's a bigger jump. I have more time and I've just kind of rode it more, so I've got more experience on a BMX bike in that avenue, and that's why I feel more comfortable.
Makes sense. How has the reception from the scooter community been in the sense of like seeing you transition to bikes? Are they like you left us? Where are you?
No, they have like this. To be honest, the scooter kids are just like it's like me at a skate park against Logan Martin. Is the same as me on a scooter against Scooter Martin. Yeah, legit. But there's like way more scooter kids that are just. I mean, there's way more BMX guys that are just killer at park. So it's kind of like. I have my own little flavor that I can bring to the skate park, and there's some things that I can do on BMX that are like impressive at a skate park, but it's like my own little flavor. And it's kind of the same as scootering. Like the scooter comps, I probably wouldn't be able to compete that well in unless it's a skate park that caters to the way I ride.
Well, like I meant more in the sense of like as being a scooter rider, like do they feel like oh you're all into the BMX and you're like I miss the old RWilly or something like that.
They might. I think that on YouTube I'd make a lot of BMX videos now, so sometimes they're like make a scooter video. Yeah. But they're pretty chill about it because I'll always I always bring my scooter everywhere. I'll always be riding my scooter and like incorporate it and like have fun on it. And I've been scootering like a long time, and everyone that. So they still know me as a scooter rider because at Nitro I still do ride a scooter.
I feel like you still represent being a scooter rider.
But
and like when you have the opportunity.
Yeah, but there probably is a lot of people that are like, oh, well, ride scooter more. But in China they let me ride the scooter on the Mega Ramp, which was kind of cool.
Really?
Not the jump, but like they let me like ride on it because there's just no security.
Oh yeah, that was the first time the jump got opened up, right? Because security was so relaxed that you could just do whatever you could do.
Yeah, that's right. Because Lewis was in that. They were all riding it. They were like doing some tricks on it.
On the Mega Ramp?
Yeah.
Lewis was jumping the Mega Ramp.
Yeah, I think so. Not jumping the Mega Ramp, riding the quarter, like pedaling in. Yeah. And doing some stuff. Yeah.
Damn. So China was just didn't care.
Oh, it was chill.
You should have hit the jump on your scooter.
I could easy. I did Woodward. Yeah.
The mini.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. No, West when they had it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I did the big side on the Woodward West one, which was like 80 foot because it was all warped and stuff, and I went deep. So it was probably like the biggest jump ever done on scooter because that thing was messed up. It was pretty wild.
Did you ever jump it straight on a scooter? Or did you always front flip it?
Nah, 360'd it.
Damn.
I think I did straight jump it.
That's sick.
Yeah.
You never see anyone like just jump that big straight on a scooter, I feel like. Or on a bike, really.
Yeah, no one jumps it straight. It's super hard to like... Because when you do a flip, you like set the angle. You like set it. Okay.
You have something to kind of do.
Yeah. Whereas you jump straight, if you lean to the side like 10%, then by the time you land, you're like upside down.
True.
It's like the kids at the jump. Like even on my jump, when people jump it for the first time, I'm like, you're going to want to lean forward because when you're going off the ramp, you're so steep, right? Yeah. But then they're like, okay, well, I need to lean forward. So then you lean forward and then you're good. You level out, but then you're at your peak and then you fall and just keep nosediving. Yeah. Like the old kid at the first time they jump at the dirt jumps. And they just,
that thing's insane. You're landing, the like airbag landing you have.
It's so fun.
That's got to be the only one in the world. It's so big. Or is it like the motorcycle landing they probably have for Travis Pastrana?
Yeah. It's like a Nitro. It's like the same. It's the same as Nitro, but a little bit bigger.
Yeah, it's huge.
My ramp's off the ground, so it's more of a step up.
Okay.
So you can hit it faster.
So that's your compound. It's just this huge cement slab.
Yeah. How big is it?
The takeoffs.
Like the property.
Oh, 40 acres.
40 acres.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then I just like there used to be a it was like a bitumen driveway down to the bottom house. There's two houses on it. There's one at the top and one at the bottom. My dad lives at the bottom one. And there was like this sketchy ass bitumen road that you would have only been able to ride on like a mountain bike.
Is he cursing?
He's some sort of Australian slave.
Bitumen. What do you call it? Road base.
Like a dirt road?
What are roads made out of? Tar.
Oh, okay.
Tar, okay.
So asphalt.
Bitumen.
Tar.
All right. Okay.
Bitumen.
All right.
bitumen. Anyway,
Same language, a few different words.
it's just like hot poured tar.
Okay.
And like
Alright.
you could only ride on like a mountain bike if you're like enduro expert. But so what I did was scrape that out and then concreted it with like 100 meters of concrete, and then basically made like a perfect driveway for my dad, and then made a perfect roll in for me.
So when he's going to his house, so he's like, "Gotta move all the shit."
Yeah, but it's
can he
kind
drive
of
around it?
It's wide enough. No. It's that's down the like it turns off. He turns off before the actual hit. But
Ryan, get the shit out of the way.
it's
I gotta
pretty.
go home.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. Like
gotta shit.
the run in, you could obviously get like too much speed, but then my mate Brandon Schmidt, when he did the quad backflip, he pedaled from the top of my driveway, and like it's 100 meters of pure down slope, and he pedaled down and then just like ripped a flip as hard as he could and did 4 flips before like
Jed did the 4.
yeah, he did it first, right?
Yeah.
He did it first, but then it's like
Insane.
I think it was kind of cool because obviously Jed did it like, which was sick, and Foster, and they had like that battle,
Yeah.
and it was like $1 million, $500,000 like production, you know, like, and then I'm just like this guy in the Sunshine Coast, and I've just made this ramp, and then Brandon Schmidt just comes and lives at my like the top house and eats 2-minute noodles for like a month, and then I finally got my landing because I only had the flat bag, and then he just like was doing quad backflips to the airbag. I finally get the landing, and then like the second day of like riding the landing, he was trying to quad backflip, and then
Wow.
eventually did it.
Crazy.
And he's not even a bike rider fully either, right?
No,
He rides, like
no,
snowboards and
Yeah, he
skateboards?
just does like everything. He just like did everything and got on Nitro Circus, made like a sponsor me Nitro Circus kind of video, you know. I made a video saying, look at all the things I can do, and then got on, and then
That's crazy.
Yeah.
There's like people like that. They're like
See, I think that's
gymnasts on wheels.
That's like the new generation though, because I
There
see
is.
it at the parks now where they're like kids are just swapping boards and bikes and,
Yeah.
and scooters, and they can all drop in on everything.
Yeah,
you
well,
know,
it's
and
just-
it's like
I feel like it's just like whatever you find fun.
Yeah.
It's like, and then
Yeah.
if you find 2 things fun, just do 2 things.
Yeah.
And that's why I would bring the BMX and the scooter to the skate park, because I get the best of both worlds. And they complement each other. Like there's so many tricks that I've learned on scooter that I brought to BMX, right? And then it like did well. Like even the nothing front bike flip, like to see that trick that it's not even like, I hate when people are like, oh, that's just a scooter. Like it's not a scooter trick anymore. I did it on BMX, and then like
Yeah.
Logan's doing it at the Olympics, winning a gold medal,
Yeah.
doing that trick. So it's just cool
There's
that
probably like 300 kids trying it right now working on it.
yeah, which is
Yeah.
sick. And it's like, I feel like it's one of like the coolest like upright tricks. You know, it's pretty hard to invent an upright trick these days,
True.
because so many.
Without
not
adding
at-
an extra bar,
not-
extra
exactly,
spin.
yeah.
Yeah,
extra flip.
like, and that's what I've always kind of tried to do is like, what can we do with the BMX to just make a new entire trick, not just add a combo? Because personally, I've never been good at just adding a tail whip or adding a bar spin, because I suck at tail whips majority, like usually, unless it's like doing something else, or like I feel the urge that if it's like a new trick, like if I'm trying to, I want to do a double backflip triple tail whip, then I'll be doing like I'm gonna try like my hardest. But if it's like
such a crazy statement.
if it's like if it's
no
a
tail whips, but he can do a double backflip, triple tail whip.
yeah.
but if it's like a straight triple whip, I've never done a straight triple whip. I'd rather do a double backflip triple whip.
Why waste your triples on that? You know.
I just can't
It's
triple whip
right, yeah.
upright. Like it feels so wonky for me to be switch footed and like be like, like I can't
Yeah,
do it.
that makes
I could
sense
whip
in a
like
weird-
I could do a
in a
sick
weird way.
whip because like it's so slow, and like if it's a box jump, but if it's a fly out whip, I suck. I think I've done 2 whip flats in my whole life too.
Is so RWillyLand, like is there more planned? Is there other goals like because I think when I first saw it I was like, oh, he's doing this and he's gonna like probably build a park or something, and then
Yeah.
I think like COVID hit and stuff like
I
that.
think that
whatever,
a skate park's a bit weird because, you know, you were just saying before that like we have such good skate parks in
Yeah.
Caloundra, and I love Caloundra Skate Park. I'd almost build Caloundra Skate Park at my land,
Yeah,
and put
yeah.
a cover on it or something. But I just love Caloundra Skate Park so much for the skate park aspect,
Yeah.
because what I do at a skate park is completely different to what I do at my land in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll probably build like dirt jumps because I really like dirt jumps. But then again, like dirt jumps are just so hard to maintain.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like I want to give a crew the opportunity to just have a part of my land that they can just build whatever they want. And that's what I think I'd be more like about that than me trying to build some dirt jumps that like a mediocre, because I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, and then trying to maintain it. And then here I am in America. I can't even do it. I can't even like maintain it.
yeah, you're gone for 4 months.
Yeah. So I'd rather just give someone like the key to to RWillyLand to just come and like have fun and make whatever they want, and then like allow me to be able to have fun as well when I'm at home.
Yeah.
So you're gone for 4 months at a time. How's your schedule going with the? With all
No,
this?
like sometimes. So we have a tour with Nitro Circus coming up in America, and just like luckily it's like an indoor tour in winter, so they can kind of like smash it out like Thursday to Sunday shows, and we're just like on a tour bus. Whereas before it was like 4 months on tour because we only do one or two shows a weekend, which is like hard because then I'm living in America. Like I can't fly home during the week.
Yeah.
I could. Sometimes they have a break and I'll go home just to split it up. But
Yeah.
when you have like your own, like I bet you now that you have a skate park in your backyard, you probably like don't really go, like you probably don't go too much. Like you kind of miss home a little bit because you're like, oh, I could just ride a skate park at home.
Simple.
Unless it's like with friends, and then you're like, that's an added bonus. That's why like I want to be riding a skate park somewhere else. Mm-hmm. But when you have your friends that ride with you at home, it makes home pretty good.
Yeah. But I was saying, but you have to do the shows for 4 months at a time in America.
Yeah.
Well, so not, the next one's like 1 month.
Nah, yeah,
right?
it's only like, I think, I don't know exactly.
But think about it, when we don't ever leave for a month.
No.
No.
That's
Yeah,
why- that's why I was like, that's-
I'm like
yeah.
10 days tops.
Yeah.
And you're probably about the same.
No, yeah, it's hard.
Like we like being home. Well,
Yeah.
San Diego's nice.
And
we have our own routine, you know, like
it used to be easier when I didn't have my compound at my house.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was like, what would happen is I would dream up all these things that I want to try, and the only time I would get to try them is at Nitro Circus.
Yeah.
And that's when I would like, that's when you'd see me just send it like
Yeah.
in the shows.
Yeah.
Whereas now I do have that same thing, but I can land my tricks at home if they're not like, sometimes I'll just think, oh, I want to do a front flip pendulum. Like, and that's kind of like not the most dangerous trick to try. And I'm like, I'll just do that at my house and I can do it now.
Yeah.
Whereas before I'd have to wait and go to Nitro Circus and then try it in the show. And you only get 2 jumps in best trick to try this certain trick. And I'm like, what do I want to try? Because like, if I try the harder trick and I don't land it, then it's a waste of a jump. So sometimes it's like you think like that. But now that I have it at home, I can kind of like do those tricks that I randomly think of.
So you don't feel like you have the urge to be on the tour as much as you used to? Or are you still a part of the tour as much as you always were?
I do. I'm just saying that, like, yes, it isn't. It's more annoying to be away for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Whereas before, I used to be like, I don't care. Like, I don't need to go home.
Similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but when you do these tours, though, unless you have time to go home, if it's in America, though, you have to stay over here and do the full tour.
Well, it was even worse during COVID because if I went home, I'd be stuck in
Oh,
home for 2 weeks or whatever. That was incredibly
See, really
weird.
good.
But
Yeah.
I'm glad now.
Jason was just on the podcast talking about
Yeah.
that.
No, I seen that. I seen
2-week
that.
quarantine stuff. It's crazy.
And he was talking about J2E like running in his hotel room.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's some Nitro Circus guys that did it, like Jacko Strong, motorbike guys, Jacko Strong and Harry Bink, and their stories were crazy. Like they were getting blow up dolls like sent to the hotel and like doing like dressing them up and like having like dinner dates with them and like putting it all over their Instagram. It was insane. It was so funny.
Insane.
They were going crazy. Like I couldn't imagine it because even just doing home quarantine was like, what the fuck?
I mean, we never participated really.
Yeah.
So it was,
Dude,
it
but
was
yeah,
what it
like, was it 2 weeks in a hotel room?
Yeah,
right? 10 days or something?
At a certain time, it was that, and then but I waited until
You never went back and dealt with that?
Nah. That's why I stayed for like 4 months.
So I guess like is your main like I feel like you have so many like you as a business. There's so much like you have obviously you're a sponsored professional rider.
Yep.
You have the Nitro Circus tour. You have YouTube. You have events. Like you're like diversified in that sense. Like does any of them suffer at any point? Like you have to choose your battles at some.
Yeah, you know what happens a fair bit is like I'll be so used to riding my ramp that I like suck at riding a skate park.
Yeah.
Like, because I just rode Matt Hoffman's skate park the other day when I was in Oklahoma City, and I'm like, just rolling around. I'm like, man, I feel so sketchy. Like, the skate park would usually be like my type of skate park, but I just feel so awkward because I'm so used to just like dropping in, doing one trick, and then be done. Or even the dirt contest is like kind of, it's all right because I'm doing 3 tricks, but they're in a straight line, right? And they're not like carving but whereas when I was growing up, it was like Caloundra Skate Park and it was bowls and like I was carving and like flowing around the skate park and I felt so good. But then now it's like, it's hard for me to be good at both at the same, like not good, but like feel like comfortable
Yeah.
at both.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like that for you with street. Like, do you ever ride a lot of street and then you feel kind of weird at the park, or you ride your park so much that you feel a bit weird riding street?
Definitely. Like riding street a lot, then takes a while to get back like on the park feel.
Yeah.
But riding park and going to street's pretty chill.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but I get you.
And then I feel like your park's pretty cool, so you would probably ride the dirt jumps like pretty chill because it's just like a box jump.
Yeah, my park kind of keeps you dialed on all that.
So that's
You're gonna go ride it after this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
gonna be-
So then for me, it's like my jump, the flat bag, I can just jump small and it kind of feels like a small dirt jump.
Yeah.
So that's how I kind of practice for the dirt jump. That's why I can still like do that.
Do you have
But
a small lip that compares to the dirt jumps?
Nah,
So
I
you
just
still-
don't hit. I just hit it slow. I've always been like that's the same thing as like when I flip drop for the first time. I didn't have a mega ramp, but I had like a 6 foot drop into a
Something.
foam pit, so I knew that if I just land on my face like 8 times in a row,
You had a 6 foot drop into a foam pit? So you didn't have
probably
your,
even a 4
your-
foot. 4 foot. No,
You didn't have your compound yet?
No.
At that point?
No.
In
When I-
2019?
no way.
Wow, so that's
yeah.
all really new.
Yeah.
Damn.
No, all my X Games practice was kind of more just Nitro Circus, and then
Whoa.
like I did
Yeah,
go
so
to.
we don't even have like
Yeah.
full RWilly.
that's a
You
trip.
know, like the
What-
new
No.
version of him over the
Ooh.
gap is gonna
No,
be
no, and these
insane.
You have your quarter
quarters
pipe
now.
now, too.
That's
Yeah.
the thing that's gonna like. I've done even just having it for a month. Like, the
So when
trick-
you say quarter, there was that one thing that it was like almost like I think we posted it like the open loop ish.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
come back enough.
Well, I
yeah.
mean, like, what is it? It's not an.
I love
open
that
loop.
you're
What the
just like
fuck
that's
is it?
just our Willy stuff. I've seen that. That's sick. But you're right, yeah, because it's like
He watches a podcast. Oh yeah, you donated
Yeah.
$15.
Yeah, I know.
Well, there's. I
my
said I was
cake
gonna get. I literally responded. I was like,
Because-
I'll get you some beers.
you
and you're
know-
like, there you go.
this is it. I didn't have internet when I was little, so when I would go to my nan's, I would have internet for like a week when I went to my nan's because my mum and dad were like split up, and they still split up. But I would go to my nan's and she had internet, and because my mum didn't have internet. So when I got to my nan's, I could like watch all these YouTube videos, and I could download the videos onto my iPod. So I would like go there and I would download I downloaded like 30 BMX videos onto my iPod just so I could watch them over and over.
That's sick.
Because I didn't have the internet to like see what was going
So
on.
adorable.
And it was like, because I was remember on the way here, I'm like, oh, what were those videos? Like Ruben Alcantara, the Grounded. That one was like,
that one?
full-
Yeah.
like, yeah, exactly
yeah.
that. And like Sergio Leos, I remember he would do and then at the end he did like the 360 dip invert table, and that was like that's why table became my favorite trick in the world because he like did that, and I remember watching that. And then it was like Mark Webb, like his full English video, Alex Colborn, the shooting it one where he like I can't do any of these, but like he would like. There was like piece of wood on the side of a wall, and he would like foot jam
Yeah.
in. And then who else? Harry Main.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's so funny because I'd watch him do a trick and I thought he was doing like something that he did a 3 down whip to foot jam, but when I watched him do it, he did it so weird that I thought it was like a completely new trick never done on BMX, like the 3 down whip bit.
Yeah.
And what else?
Who, Harry or Alex?
So would you-
Harry.
Like growing up,
He
you
was so
like
sick.
she didn't have
He was
internet by
sick.
choice, or was it like a money thing?
No,
or
it was a
was
money thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just didn't have internet. I just yeah, we didn't because it was my mom was single mom. This is when I was going to the skate park mostly. Like she would fork out like the yearly pass.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was just to get rid of like just to make me
You
have
were
something to
probably
do.
pretty hyper kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I would just go there after the skate park, but yeah, I didn't have internet at all. It was
Yeah.
a bit like I think.
Well, shout out to mom.
Yeah.
That's huge.
But then
Like,
yeah, when I
Internet money
got
went to you going to the skate park.
yeah,
Probably.
legit,
yeah,
legit
yeah,
'cause it-
Kmart rollerblades, right?
yeah,
so
Kmart scooters,
no internet.
and I would just ride like there was other ones like the Razor Pro, and I would only ride the Kmart one, but I would hit like an L bracket, like an L bar of steel into the deck because to stop it from bending, because it would only last me like a month if I didn't like reinforce it. So I would like get an L bracket of alloy like this, and I would hammer it down like the side of the scooter
Crazy.
to just like reinforce it, so it'd last like longer. And then, then when I went to my nan's, it was like, oh my God, the internet. I can watch videos. Like,
And isn't it? Don't both your parents live on RWillyLand now?
so my
Or no?
mum lives at my house. So I bought a house inland, closer to the beach, like 10 minutes from the beach. And it's like 5 bedroom. Like that's where I live now.
Uh-huh.
So my mum lives at that house and it's like 5 bedroom. She lives there. And then my dad moved up when I bought the land because he's an excavator driver. and he like so I would hire an excavator and he would like shape it all. And then he lives in the bottom house. So
That's cool.
So did you buy a house? Essentially, you bought a house for both your parents.
Kinda like they're obviously my houses, but they live in each house. Yeah,
and that has to feel pretty fucking.
Yeah,
special.
no, it's sick because obviously I was living with my mum, and then we were living in like a duplex thing, which is like, well, the first house was in Kings Beach. It was that was even worse. That was like a unit kind of thing, and that's where I didn't have internet. And then she moved into a place where it was like a duplex. So it was just like one person on either, one house on either side, but it was connected down the middle. And that was like where I grew up till I was like 21. And then when I was 21, I bought my first house because that was 4 years of Nitro Circus. So then I had enough money to buy a house, and I bought like a nice like 5-bedroom house. And then my mum, I got my mum to move into there so that she could rent her house out. Because they had a mortgage on that, so then they could like rent it out and pay the mortgage, so it was easier for them. And I was like always doing tour, so if I'm away 4 months of the year, it's an empty 5-bedroom house, like that's just a waste.
Yeah.
So then I got her in that house because it was nicer, and then they could rent out their house, and then now, they got to sell that after they like nearly paid the mortgage off. They sold that, and then mum lives at my house, and then dad lives at the land.
That's awesome.
Rad.
Yeah, no, it's
congrats
sick.
on that, dude. That's like kid dream stuff, you know?
Yeah, and I literally owe everything to like, I feel like my mum just like created me. Like obviously, but you know, like after even being born, like she built me into the person I am today. So like I kind of owe everything to my mum.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We both said the same thing. Yeah. I mean, that's
awesome.
what else you say to that, dude? That's
Rad.
That's huge. Like,
And you would like, if you met my mum, she
gives me the feels.
She's
she's
like the absolute like
BMX
legend.
champion.
She's an absolute legend. Like she wants to jump BMX to my landing, but I'm like, Mum, come on. We made this like slip and slide thing at my house because I have like a spring fed dam, which is like it gets fed from the ground with water, so it's always like full, but it's like pretty murky. And we made like a slip and slide into it, and we were doing it for like a day, and then it was Australia Day. Everyone was like on the beers, having fun, and she's like, I want to try it, and I'm like, all right. And it was like pretty sketchy, like the bottom like kind of went like quick, and we're sitting on like a inflatable to go down, and she's like goes down, and she's like super stiff, and she's like, ugh, and she like she like broke her back in 4 places.
Oh my God.
Going through the transition, so she's broken her back, and then she's in the air like floating. And then she's like, you could see her in the water, and I knew she was in trouble, so I go down, and then I have to like carry her out of the water, and like we don't know what's going on. Turns out she like fractured her spine in 4 places and like fully.
Oh, that's why she was spooked on the trike.
Yeah. So, but she had already done the trike, and then she's like, I'll do this, and then she hurt herself.
Oh.
And then Steve-O was there, and she's like, I'll do it. And I was like, Mom, you can do it. And then she's like, I'll do it. And then she was like, started thinking about that, I guess.
Yeah.
But then she did it.
Fuck yeah.
She's a legend, dude. She's crazy.
How far do you live? How far do you and your mom
15
live?
minutes away from my land. It's actually sick. To be honest, I like that I don't live, like, because everyone's like, do you live at RWillyLand? And it's kind of like the gym. You know, if you have a gym at your house, sometimes you're like, it's hard to like go, I'm going to work out, you know? Whereas if you drive 10 minutes to the gym, you are like ready to go. When you get there, you're like, I'm here to work out. So when I drive 15 minutes, I get there and I'm like, I'm ready to ride. Like it's time to ride. So it's kind of like a good switch.
I mean, that's the same as Dennis's setup. He doesn't live at his ramp. So ramps are his parents' house.
Yeah.
I live super close now, though.
Yeah, it's like 10 minutes.
I
mean,
but
8
still,
minutes.
I think even like, because I made a gym at my house, and I'm like, cool, I can work out here. Nah, never worked out there. But then now that I have a gym that I go to, like you just go there and you like set in motion like what you need to do.
Yeah.
So it's the same when I go to the land. I'm like, all right, I'm going there to do this. Let's go.
Fuck, what was I gonna ask?
Dude, I'd love to see you ride my ramp. You would be,
I want to come.
sick.
Yeah, I think that was maybe one of my next things. But are you guys just always there? That's where you go?
Yeah, it's funny because I don't know about you. Like, you make something, and then like a lot of people ride it for a little bit, and then it kind of like no one like it rides. Like sometimes I'm there. Sometimes I'm there. I'm like by myself, and I'm like, man, I've got a mega ramp to an airbag that you could like literally try whatever you think, and be kind of safe, and like no one is out here, right?
That's how I feel. I have like one of the best ramps ever.
Yeah,
And it's, like,
right?
still sometimes like, where is everyone to ride with? Sometimes it's like overwhelming.
But then
There's too
in
many
the
people to
comments
ride
I've
with.
entered now that everyone's like, "Oh, come to the
Yeah.
come now.
Yeah.
I'll do anything." It's like,
come
oh,
ride.
yeah, I get it, but it's just weird that like sometimes I sit out there and I'm like, why is there no one here? Because if I've rode by myself, but man, it's not
Your
safe.
setup
I
would be
not
weird
do
to ride
that.
by yourself.
Yeah.
Someone just my dad
Just headphones on.
my
Like,
dad comes out and I'm
at least
just
you have
like,
your dad there.
I'm just faced. Yeah, he'd probably hear me screaming.
Yeah.
Hopefully, but I'll just be like laid
Was
down.
the Hoffman story where he just put his phone at the bottom of the ramp.
Oh yeah.
So if you would
Where the hell is he going to put his phone though?
yeah, it's true.
On the airbag?
Yeah.
It just flies
Dude,
off.
that actually reminds me. I don't know if it was. I think it was Chad Kagi told me about a story where he got knocked out and then someone just found him in Cloud 9 face down. Like he was riding by himself on the vert ramp and then someone just found him unconscious on the bottom of the half pipe.
You ever heard Dave? You've probably heard the McCoy and Hoffman collision
Running
story,
into
right?
each other, yeah.
They were doing a doubles thing, and they were filming with GoPros or whatever.
Yeah.
And they collided with one another, and they got like, I don't remember the specifics, but they got fucked up,
Yeah.
like broken hip or something like that. And they're both on the bottom of the ramp, like crawling around, like trying to find a solution.
they couldn't help each other,
Like
you
they
know?
couldn't. They were both so messed up. They're two 45, 50-year-old men.
No
just like,
way.
like trying to get to Hoffman's phone.
That's gnarly.
Yeah.
See, that's
Such
dangerous.
a savage visual.
And
to
they thought
imagine.
they were like doing the right thing by like having someone there to ride with them,
Yeah,
but then they
yeah.
collide with each other.
One of their bars like went through the other
yeah,
one's like organs.
yeah. It was
bad.
really bad. It was not good. Yeah.
Oh wow.
What else is there? Let's talk about what else I got in here. I was touching on a lot of stuff already. You shouldn't.
You're
look
going
at that.
straight to, I don't know if we've even touched
Oh,
on
yeah,
it, but you're going
triples?
straight to
Yeah.
the dirt contest tomorrow.
Yeah, triple
What-
challenge.
I mean, expectations going into the first round, I guess, is about
Second
maybe.
round.
Well,
Oh,
in the first
what was
before,
it?
yeah, before like you're like, all right, I'm going to a dirt event. Like,
it was funny because it was the start of the year, so it was like January, so I knew that there was like nothing on, and then I didn't have anyone to pay for the flight, and it was like $2,000, and I'm like, man, I'm just gonna buy it myself because it was like motivation. I just needed something. I was like, when you get out, it's before the holidays, it's before New Year's, Christmas. All you're doing is like hanging out, you're drinking with your mates. And I'm like, I need something to like just switch me on like for this year. And I don't want to wait until like June, or whenever something is, because I didn't know when the next thing was.
yeah.
So I was like, I need something to switch me on to like get me motivated, go to the gym, ride, and like progress and like push myself because I was feeling a bit like flat. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do this. The triples is coming up. The flight's $2,000, whatever. I'll just spend it. And I just went there with no expectation to like, I just wanted to get to the final event, at least like the finals, because like you do the practice day. I mean, the qualifying, it's quite a grueling event, to be honest, because you have to do qualifying, which is like cuts down 40 people to 16 or whatever, and then you do a semi-final that cuts them down to 8, and then you do another final, and every single one's 3 runs. So it's like
It's all the same day.
no,
2 days.
The first day is the qualifying, so the one with 40 people, and then the second day is like the semi and the final.
Okay.
So you end up doing 9 runs, and like depends. The problem is the people are everyone's so good. So it's like when you do qualifying, you don't want to do a half-assed run because it might
Yeah.
not get you in because
Going all the way.
the level of riding is so insane. So I just like went in there and I'm like, I know I hurt my shoulder too before I went over. So I had 2 weeks off my bike just to make sure I could like still hold on. And then I went over and I was just like, I'm just going to do runs that like I know I won't fall, because if I fall, I know that I'll be back at square one. Because I don't know, like sometimes if you hurt your shoulder, sometimes like you can't even ride, and then like you get to a point, but if you fall on it again, any injury really, if you know that you fall on it again, you're going to be like set back 2 weeks instantly. So I was at that point, and I'm like, okay, just stay on the bike, and that's why I kind of like went into qualifying. I did my first run, I don't know, I think I just double flipped the first and then like fronty tucked and then 361 foot table. And then I'm like, I've got 1 run down. Now I'm going to like, what can I do to just not risk it too much? Because I feel like that might get me through like to top 16 because that's like a double flip. So I'm like, I'll just try something new on the end. Because I never do the inward bike flip like straight up. The last time I did that was like a GC comp in like 2000 and like before 2020 probably. And then I just tried it and it worked. And then I got into the semis and I was like, oh, what could I do now?
What place did you qualify into that?
Second, I
Okay,
think.
so you're like,
so
all
yeah.
right.
Oh, and I was like, what the fudge? Like, are you serious?
I'm right here.
You know what your name is in my contact list? It's Ryan Fudge Daddy. I don't know why. It's just I feel like you are a dad. So
That's true.
But
That
I was
is
just
true.
like put that in. But
You know, there's a guy down the street that used to shoot BMX photos that I grew up riding with. His name is literally lives a block and a half away from here. His name is John Fudge.
oh really?
Ironically.
Oh
yeah.
damn.
Yeah.
I think I met someone that looked exactly like me once when I was out, and his name was like Ryan. I was like, couldn't believe it. I got a photo with him. I was like, what the fudge? I was like, you could be my doppelganger.
What the fudge, Daddy?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But then second. So I'm like, oh shit, but I could just do the same run, and then I could maybe make it through. So the second day came,
Okay.
the semifinals. It's crazy because like. Competitions sometimes like just thinking about how people are gonna, how can you like how can you like work your way up to the final?
Yeah.
Because sometimes
without going too hard and blowing up.
because if I just did my finals run, I don't think that it probably would have got beat. Like second place might have beat it because it's not fresh in the judges' minds.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I did, and then in semis I did my run perfectly, the one that got me second, and I'm like, okay, that should get me through. So now what can I do? I can just think of a new trick to try on the first jump to like, so I can, if I can get that done in the finals and then add the other tricks to it, then I have a full final run. So I end up doing that fronty ruler, which I've never done on a small jump like that. And it just worked, but I didn't do my 2 after tricks. Like I just did a front flip and then like a back flip. Like, and then that got me to the finals.
That's smart. Really smart.
This is finals. Oh, so you were talking about semis, but
Yeah, I'm
this
talking about
is finals.
semis. But then I got to finals. In the first run, I just knew what to do. Okay, this is the trick that was like better than my the double flip.
then you just
fronty
added the
tuck,
other run
and then I
together.
just added what got me second.
Yeah.
But I had a better trick at the start.
Yeah.
And I did it cleaner.
Nice.
And then I was like, sweet. And then that's when, from this, I'm like, oh, I don't want to risk hurting myself.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try something completely new. And that was that.
I don't want to risk hurting myself, so I'm going to
Special
try
twist.
something completely new.
Well, there's a difference between like something completely new and like something that's just a single flip. Like it sucked.
So this was best trick, or did you?
No, this is his run.
This is my run.
That was his first run. So he basically won the contest on
Okay.
his first run, and he's like, "Oh, I'll just fucking do this fucking."
And then I nearly
wild."
landed it, so I'm like, cool, I got a trick for best trick.
So you kind of kept doing the same thing all the way through until best
Yeah.
trick was over.
Yeah.
Like, just kept got the run and kept working towards
Yeah.
the next thing.
And then sometimes like that's how you kind of have to.
That's how you win the contest and best trick.
Right?
Yeah,
That's
let's
how you
go.
do it. They just told everyone the secrets.
I still have a scar on my. I still literally have the scab. I have a
This
little
isn't
bit of
going
a
to come
scab
out
left.
until after the next dirt contest. So
thank
you
God.
didn't give away your
Yeah.
secret too
So
soon.
you'll be able to. This is probably the same strategy I'm going to do for this next time. See if it works. My knee sucked. I taped it with. I put tape around my knee because I had crappy jeans on. Like you buy crappy jeans and they're cheap, but then as soon as you fall on dirt, they just rip in half. It was a sick contest.
Was a sick contest.
It was crazy because it was at the Supercross, right? And I've never seen a Supercross in my whole life.
Yeah.
So I go do that, and then the winner has to go live on Supercross or whatever. And I've never seen a Supercross, and I'm like so nervous because I'm like, don't ask me anything about Supercross. And then anyway, they like, what do you think of Supercross? I'm like, oh, it's so crazy. This is my first time. I've just lost my Supercross virginity. Like this is in front of 20,000 people. And I'm like, is it Ryder Lawrence? Jet Lawrence. Maybe it's Jet Lawrence?
Yeah.
I'm like, he follows me on Instagram. He's so cool. Like that's all I got to add, like that's all I have to like add to this.
Yeah, that's all I know about Supercross.
I know one thing.
It felt so awkward. But nah, it's sick. I'm so stoked that they're just like these events are even on.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think we've mentioned a couple times, but when people like talk shit on it, like you should bring back Dreamline, and you're like,
Yeah.
it's also just like a couple of dirt jumps in a parking lot. You know,
Yeah.
it's not meant to be anything else other than what it is. You know,
Yeah.
so. But
And that's like, I just when the comments, people are like, why don't you do why is there not 3 tables? Like that should be, I'm like, dude, that's in practice. Like
Yeah.
that's what I would do a 3 table in practice because that's like what I like to do. But I'm not going to be able to win the contest with a 3 table as much as like I wish you could. And like, it'd
How
be
often
sick.
do you do that trick?
Never.
Never.
No, I did it 3 years ago on my 2 years ago on my ramp.
It's so crazy that it's old.
On,
You know,
onto
like
your airbag.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
not the flat bag, but like the actual.
Nah,
landing.
the actual landing, yeah.
But it's never. Have you ever,
I did with my hand on both hands on. I did it with on a mountain bike as well, which would be sick to do it like
both
a crank
hands
race.
on?
Yeah, so it's actually I don't know if it's easier. It's hard. The hardest part of the trick is keeping the bike straight. So I have to float
Yeah.
off. So the hardest part. See how it starts to turn, and then I kind of like tilt it back. So the hardest part of the trick is coming off the bike. And you have to do you like float. You have to like really be like floating off the bike. You can't like my front. No, it's my back foot. No, it's my back foot has to come over to the bike before I start going. Otherwise, I'll get caught. You know. And I have to float, and then the bike wants to tail it because I'm kind of like yanking on the bars a little bit. But the less I yank on the bars, the less it turns, and the straighter it stays. And then you see like the one I land, I make it look like. Like it's not that super hard, but the hardest part is
especially when
already
you slow
done.
it down and see it all.
it almost looks like you could
To whip?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I
That's what
can't
was gonna
tail
say.
whip. I have done it, but I can't tail whip for crap. So that'll be Tui Twister.
Yeah, like right there.
Tui will start doing this,
Bang.
and it's going to be the Tui Twisticle or something. I don't know. He'll make up a new name for it, but
The Willy Whistler.
the hardest part of the trick's done at the start, so that's why the end looks easy. Because
Yeah.
the
When you were
start,
learning it, how long did it take to like figure it out?
a long time.
Seems like a trick that would take
Because-
some time.
Because the hardest part's the start. You can't just flip off your bike. It doesn't
Yeah.
work like that. You have to like glide off your bike and pass it back, and then you have to like one-handed X up with your hand, but you can't like if you can't lift it, you have to keep it in the spot. So you're backflipping, but it's like my hand's a gimbal. So if you look, my hand's like a gimbal. It stays kind of like look how like in the same spot it stays.
Yeah.
You see how, and I'm kind of going around it, but my one hand that's on isn't really moving that much other than doing a bar spin, but in the space of area, it's staying in the same kind of
such a
position.
trip.
You see?
Yeah.
So that's just like, that's the thing.
So this one, did it start coming to life on Nitro Circus tours or
Nah.
not until you built your lane?
No, it's the flat bag. I just
This
did
one
it.
had to be like a flat bag.
Yeah,
trick.
it was a scooter trick called a Stanley, and that's when you have both hands on. He named it a Stanley flip because his name's Jaden Stanley. But this one's a variation. I just take my hand off because it makes it easier to not move the bike so much. Whereas if you have 2 points of contact with the bike, as I'm
It's gonna start
flipping,
flipping too.
yeah, well, it's just harder to not do anything.
Yeah.
Like the thing is, I'm trying to do nothing with the bike, and that's the hardest part. When you have 2 points of contact, it's easier to move the bike, right? But if you have one, the bike's more in control of
It's
the
dictating.
hand. Yeah, it's dictating it more, and you want it to stay still and like stay in the same spot. So you want more kind of pressure on that hand, and it doesn't move it as much. But I can do it with both hands on. It's just a little bit different.
And what's the name
That
of
looks
it?
sick.
Because I feel like that was.
I don't know, man. Just call it whatever you want. Like
What's
it's
your middle name?
Anthony.
Anthony.
Lee.
The Anthony.
Nah,
the Tony Twist.
I called it the special twist, but it's
Anthony
just,
Neapolitan flip.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
I called it the special twist because it's kind of like a special flip,
Yeah,
which is like
that's
when
what
you
I thought.
fully let go
Yeah.
and then grab on and then get back on. But I don't let go, so I just call it a special twist because in scootering, when you do a bar spin without letting go of your hand, it's called a bar twist. So it's like you can do a bar spin on bike without letting go of your hand.
Yeah.
And like I can do it, but that's what I'm doing. Technically, I'm doing a bar spin in the trick.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Crazy.
special twist, just a little play on it. Call it whatever you want.
Yeah.
I'll just do
Make
it.
up a name right now. We'll just go with it.
I'll just
yeah,
do it.
Just give it to Tui again.
Yeah.
Wait till someone else even does
the
it.
Tui Twizzler.
Tui Twizzler.
Might be a while till someone's doing that in contests. So, it's just your trick right now.
But then there's so many tricks that I have now because I did that. Now I know the size of the jump, and now I went home and I just like, all right, this is how much time I needed to do this. So if I just kind of can get my tricks down in this amount of time, then I can kind of. That's what I kind of go off. So like now on my phone, I have a video where it's like my run or like one of my jumps in my run, and then like I do a trick to the airbag and I like kind of time it, and I'm like, oh, this is how much aero time I had. Okay, this is how much I double flipped. 1, 2, 3, or 1.5, 2.5, whatever. And then I'll go, okay, now this is 3 double flip. Like, how long does that take me to do? Can I do it in the same amount of time? Okay. Well, if I can do it in the same amount of time, then it should work.
Crazy.
that is crazy.
Yeah, smart.
And this is coming out after the triple, so it's all right.
Yeah,
cool.
I see you. I see you.
That's pretty crazy that like you obviously on the scooter and the bike, like at a skate park, you're riding, you know, you just ride the park lines, nose manuals, all the
Yeah.
stuff. But then like your specialty is like jumping tricks.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I guess. I mean, where it started was like, obviously, I was a professional scooter rider. Like, what actually got me to where I am is being really good at riding skate park on scooter.
Okay.
Not necessarily in a 60-second run. I'm always just being the guy that's I will not stop trying a trick. I've always just been, my special power, if it's anything, is persistence. I try a trick 10 times and I have to land it or I have to die.
Wow.
Basically.
Yeah.
Like if it's like a trick that's like a nose manual, like at Matt Hoffman skate park the other day, I did this knack. So I did the 1-footed nose manual around the park, and like I did that pretty easy. But then I was like, okay, I want to do a knack because that's way cooler, like a knack nose manual, like Jason Watts does. And I'm like, do it, and I swear to God, I got like a meter away within 3 tries around this whole park, like a good distance. And I was like a meter away from getting it, and I'm like, okay, I'm locked in. Let's try 10 tries, get close. Okay, 50 tries. Why now am I crashing? Like I'm crashing at the first straight. Like I'm not doing it. But I'm so locked in. I've done it 10 tries that if I don't land this trick now, it's beating me, and I'll lose confidence in myself. I won't do good at triples if I don't land this trick. And then that's just like lock in. I'm like, this is if you can't do a nose manual at a skate park, you can't win triples. And that's what I tell myself, and I just will go. I think I tried it for an hour and a half.
It has nothing to do with the style of riding at triples, but it has everything to do in your mental.
Yeah, it's just a challenge.
You want to be on it.
I've just set challenges for myself, and that's what I've always done, is just set a challenge for myself, and I'll just go until I don't give up. Like until I land it, or the phone dies and I can't film it anymore, or I run out of light. And I've just always been like that.
Do you attribute that like mentality for like a lot of the successes in the sense of like even just making YouTube videos? Like, oh, this guy can do it. I can make a YouTube video. You don't have an editor. Like,
yeah, no.
You don't film, nobody's filming it. You film it yourself.
Yeah.
You edit it yourself.
Yeah.
I feel like the amount of people that have like 1 million subscribers on YouTube that film and edit their own videos is probably kind of small for the most part.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
no, I just, the thing that started YouTube for me was I would go to a Nitro Circus show, and then I was like doing this show. People were coming to see like Nitro Circus, and then they'll be like, "Yo, is Tanner Fox here? Is Caper and Funk here?" Like, which is YouTube
right?
scooter riders,
Yeah.
and they like. This is when they weren't even like what they are now, and like Tanner Fox has got like over 10 million subscribers now. But this was when they were like just making videos every day, but they had 100,000 subscribers. But they were just so committed, and people were just so invested in them, because what happens about YouTube, and the best thing about YouTube is that you see someone every day, and it's like they're your best friend. Like, who are the people that you see every day, and like how much they mean to you? And if they tell you to buy something or tell you to watch something, you kind of like feel more like doing it. Whereas if you see like a celebrity that you are a fan of, but you only see in movies, if they were like, "Hey, buy this product now, I love it," you'd be like, "Yeah, do you love it, or are you just getting paid to like do it?"
Whereas, first thing you're like, how much did they get paid to be in that commercial?
Right?
With a big celebrity?
But then if it's like someone you see every day, that's your friend, and they tell you, "Hey, like this product's this product's like so super sick, you should buy it."
I'm legitimately tangled up here.
What's happening?
My headphones.
Yeah, because you actually like trust them. You're around them, and you're like,
friend.
why should I buy it? You want to talk to
But
them
even if
about
they're
it.
not like your actual friend, you see them every day like your friend. So it's like a more of an interactive experience.
Yeah, but like someone on YouTube, you're going to see them all the time. And when they say it, you're like, oh, I believe him because I actually kind of know him.
Yeah.
Just
And
like
it's
your
like,
friend.
it's not about like, and I'm not saying that people that don't do YouTube, they obviously some products they like talk about are good and like they mean it, and then like you should like it, but
they can get promoted to like different things.
I'm just saying that YouTube's like a different realm where when people see an Instagram clip, it's not the same interaction as when they watch your YouTube. Mm-hmm. But it's like they're still a fan, but it's just a different kind of interaction.
Yeah.
And I didn't notice it until I was doing Nitro Circus, and people, every single show I went to, they were like just talking about the YouTubers that did videos. And then I'm like, wow, like this must mean a lot to people. And that's what I've noticed. And then I started doing YouTube all the time. And then now I go to Nitro Circus and people tell me things that I've done that I don't even remember doing.
Yeah.
And they're so like, they're so stoked on like the YouTube videos and so invested that they're just like a super fan. They're like not just a normal fan that follow.
They're
not
like your
just a
friend
follower
that you don't know because you actually like invite
which
them
is
into your life.
Which is so dope. And like, sometimes I meet people and it's like that they feel like they know me.
When did you start doing YouTube? Like when did you start uploading?
Constantly, I did maybe 3 years ago or 4 years. 3 years ago, probably 4 years ago, maybe. It's hard.
How like?
Man, I try to do it once a week.
Once a week.
So I think I have.
Is that what you started with too?
Yeah.
Once a week.
Make it. You start easy, and the biggest thing is just be yourself.
Yeah.
Because like
so many people burn out so fast. So many people.
And the reason you burn out is you're either trying too hard or you're being someone else. And then what the problem with being someone else and like not who you are is that
it's a job.
It works at the start and you get further growth at the start, right? And it goes really well and you're sweet. But then a year down the line, now you don't want to pretend to be this person anymore. It's really hard to pretend to be this person.
And you're like stepping out the door to go film this video and you're like, all right,
exactly.
Here we go. Instead of just film our day.
And then if you're just yourself, it might not happen as fast, but as long as you're consistent, then people start to like you for who you are. And how easy is it to be yourself?
Well, and someone like you too, though. Like some people have to act different because they might not be as entertaining in that kind of world, you know? Like,
yeah.
You are an entertaining person, so you get to just be yourself. Some people have to be like, all right, what's our skit today? And what are we going to do today? Because their life, if it wasn't for that, they'd be like, I'm going to watch Lost season 5.
but then sometimes you're going to make a video that you think's going to go really well and it just doesn't do well. And then you're going to make a video that takes you 20 minutes to film and you upload like it's super easy and it's going to go super viral and you'll be like, what's going on here? And it's just a luck of a draw. And if you're just being yourself and it's easy and you're just like,
is it a luck of a draw or is it like really something that people want to see that sometimes people creating the videos don't know?
Yeah,
I don't know. Like
maybe.
there's like an appeal, like a hypnotization.
No, from my point of view, like the I think we said it off camera, but like our most viewed video is a Flatland video.
Yeah,
and the reason why is because the first dude that rides in the like the last place guy kills it.
Oh yeah,
but it's like very visually appealing to whoever's watching, like somebody who doesn't know anything about BMX, and then they're confused why he got last, and then they watch the whole video and then they comment on it like the guy that rode first fucking deserves to win.
Yeah,
and then
people can get involved in,
and that's a lucky video.
Yeah,
and
sometimes
that's a lucky video, but it had something. There's a reason though. Like you found it out. There's like some sort of thing that people like sports. Usually are fucking stupid, but people get invested in it for some reason. It's their city and they know this player and like you know, like you get invested in these things.
For me, like a lot of the time, a good YouTube video is just like
sports aren't stupid, but they're very basic and there's like things to get invested to.
On tour, like a video on tour will go pretty good because people from that show want to see like that what happened and they want to see it again and they know that they were there, they know experience, so they're invested. But a good example is like Colby Raha. Like he's like filling a void that not really people want to like. If you see him jumping like into a dam on a bike, you want to see that on Instagram. That would go viral. So instead of yeah, right. But then he puts on YouTube and that thing kicks off. And he doesn't have like, I don't know if he even has 1 million subscribers, but he has like a certain amount of subscribers. But his views are like insane. And that's where you're saying like he's found something a niche where he's filling a void. People want to see that, and then that's why he's getting a lot of like views.
Yeah.
But it's just hard. It's so hard because you can tell you can think you know what people want to watch, and then you make it, and then it just doesn't do good.
I think that's where a lot of people go wrong, though, is where people start chasing it. And
exactly.
You brought that up the other day. Like some people, they get too like hungry for the views and the little bit of money coming in. They start doing every day, like and then eventually fuck, man.
You know, like the Austin Augie or the John Hicks, and I would assume that they would. You know, agree with this statement is they go, hey, like this bombing a hill brakeless thing really worked out for me, or this thing in gang zones or something, and then they start titling everything that, and they try and replicate that video over and over and over again, and then it's down the road they're like, yeah, you're fucking kooked now. Like you're just like going to gang zones and bombing hills like all the time, like and it's like how about you just do your thing, and if you want to go there, you know, like go there, but you know,
and that's what I was saying, like to Dennis.
Sorry, John.
As long as
you're doing well,
you just. Like you might not grow as fast, but you'll last longer.
Yeah,
so it's
and you don't burn out.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to burn the candle at both ends.
Yeah.
Like as much as you like, it's great to have a viral video that like, and you think it's, I don't know. You think I've done it so many times that now I know because I've done like 500 YouTube videos that just simplify everything, have fun doing it, make video. This is the most important part for me, actually. I make videos that in 10 years my kids could watch, and be like, whoa, this is cool. And or like I could watch in 10 years and go, remember that? Like make videos for that. Make videos that you would like to look back and watch. And then you'll find that that's just organically going to make people want to watch videos like that as well, I feel. Is like, I think that's more interactive and it's easier to do. You'll put more effort into it because you're enjoying it. And that's the biggest thing. You don't want to just like crap out videos that just because like you need to.
Yeah. No,
it's hard.
Yeah. I think people can see right through it when it's like work and you don't really want to do it, and it's not just like
your video, fun. Like your YouTube videos are like perfect. Like the way that you're doing them is just so entertaining, and you'll find you'll grow like a great constant audience, and that's the
doing
biggest
just
thing.
what you said though. It's like literally just going out and having fun with my friends,
and you're not faking either. Like you're you. Like doing, it is you. It's funny. Like it's funny being part of it. Like going to them and like
that's cool.
Like it's fucking kooked. It's like it's hilarious.
I'm excited to see this one that. Fudger was talking about the one with the nail.
Oh yeah,
because I feel like
everything we do is so ghetto and just random, and then we figured out the day before. It's like it's literally our life, what we do anyways. Like where are we riding tomorrow? It's like where are we gonna film our YouTube thing? Like,
which is sick. Which is people really like that. So I think that's
and that's
I
think you don't have to. I don't think you have to lose that session idea. Like I think like that stuff is like you can mix in the catchy stuff here and there, but like don't lose like
that's one thing with Nitro is a lot of people are like, show us backstage, like show us just like the stuff that's not the craziest stuff, like what goes into it, like what are you thinking before you do it, like what is it like backstage, because a lot of people like are interested in that because they see the show
exactly,
but they don't see what they don't see.
With mine I've gone to like jams and tons of stuff, and they're like you're not vlogging, and I'm like no, like Dig and RBMX cover this kind of stuff. I don't want to jump on board.
It's
that
so hard. I'm like I was like you, and I still am like it would be. It's hard for me to vlog if I went to your park because I just want to like be in the moment and kind of enjoy it. But then I don't know. It's like, but the viewer the viewer appreciates it sometimes that you're experiencing it for the first time, and they get to see you experience it for the first time.
And you said the same at Triples. You were like, hey, like I was like, oh, you could have the footage of your runs or whatever. And you're like, I kind of want to film, but I don't want to. And I kind of want to be here.
Yeah, and I chose not to.
Yeah.
I chose not to. And
I think when you're doing a lot of fun stuff, you can film the other stuff that people don't get to see, and you can participate in that other shit that like RBMX and Dig and other people are out there filming.
Do you want another one?
Yeah, I'll have one more.
Do you want another?
I'm all right, thanks.
Before bed.
It's getting late.
Going
to bed soon.
Right? Yeah.
What is the time? Time for a ride.
Yeah, one. Yeah, one. Well, let's winning over BMXers. How do you feel? Do you feel like you've done it? Do you feel like you're like accepted by the BMX crowd?
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I think that anyone that like I can hang out with and ride, then they'll see the true like, oh man, I'm just another BMX rider.
Yeah.
And like, although like I have my scooter thing, like which I'm never gonna really let go because it gave me so much in my life. Like I can appreciate that people like have their own opinion, and it's sweet. Like if
it's like a hometown,
you
know, like you're like I live here now, but like I'm giving a shout out to my hometown, like that, like
exactly. And like I just love BMX, and I love there's so many different ways to ride a BMX bike, and I appreciate every way to ride a BMX bike, and I think that in the scheme of things, it's just better to just appreciate like everything, even though you might like think something's cooler, and that's fine. Like I think that there's not really room to like why even bother wasting energy on hating something else. Just like appreciate it, everything, and like just like if you want to just be a street, like just do street, which is sick, and that's all I watch. I watch street riders to get like an inspiration for myself, and I'm glad that I can do that. Like, I'm glad I can watch any type of riding and get inspiration from it. And if I didn't, I feel like if I was a hater of something else, I feel like that's just blocking my own senses.
Yeah, true.
And one thing that I always thought, like, you know how people do, like, say a 540 flare? Like, 10 years ago, no one was really doing it, right?
Better watch that beer.
And then
thank you.
And then someone did it. And then now everyone can do it in their run, right? I think that being open-minded to anything, to scooter tricks, being able to just try a scooter trick on a BMX bike and not care what people think, I think I give myself like some time ahead of people because they're stuck in the realm where this is a scooter trick, this isn't cool, which is all right, like if you don't want to do that. But I feel like just being open-minded to other things puts you like ahead of the rest.
I mean, nobody could argue that because the front bike flip is now becoming more like prevalent and done by just by Logan Martin, and I think I saw like another kid do it recently too.
Yeah.
And the thing that you pulled, the special twist, you said you did that 3 years ago. That's a 3-year-old trick that people are just like kind of like, whoa, and it made a shockwave. And so it's a 3-year-old trick.
And
like,
it won
which is crazy.
And it won like a best trick contest where I wasn't judging it. Like it was judges judging it, and they judged it here. So it's like you can't really argue. you can't really argue when if I can win an X Games gold medal doing scooter tricks on a BMX, which I hate to say because it's just a BMX, it's just a new BMX trick. Yeah. I just wasn't blinded by like it being a scooter trick. I just made it a BMX trick, which when no one really thought it.
Somebody put up a wall, it's not. Yeah,
it's like anything. It's like I don't know. Like people might be like, "Oh, foot jam's a BMX trick. You can't do that on a scooter." No, I enjoy doing foot jams on a scooter. And then it just opens up a new realm. And here I am doing tricks that are world's first or like no one else has done on a scooter just because I'm doing a BMX trick on a scooter. And I just have always thought about anything like that. Even if it was a snowboard trick, I guess my 720 double backflip, you could argue that's a snowboard trick.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, it's a BMX trick if you do it on a BMX.
No.
And that's just how I've always thought. And I'm just glad that having that mindset kind of helped me.
She's just wrecking house.
It just helped me like progress through my BMX career, and
instead of blocking it away, you're influenced.
Like imagine if I listened to the people that said, if you don't ride a scooter, it won't get you anywhere. Like I could have just listened to one person that said that, and I wouldn't have 5 X Games medals.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be.
It's like how many people have beautiful voices, but their brother or sister's like, "Shut up, your voice sucks," and they're like, "Damn it."
Yeah.
And
they could have been a sick singer.
You're always going to meet people in your life that are like that towards anything that you do. Like people probably, you were saying like it's even surprising for me to hear how the skateboarders treated BMXers.
Even BMXers too, like being like super. If you hang out with park people, the amount of shit I hear street riders say about them, like you kind of brought that topic up, where you're like, dude, what the fuck, like. You know, and it's just and then people will be so closed off on just it's the same sport, and they'll be closed off on the other types of it, and you're like, dude. Like you'll be in the streets and looking at a spot and they're like, oh my God, this is so crazy. But I'll be like riding ramps the day before and like seeing a pocket air Corey Walsh. And I'm like, this ain't crazy, you know, just because like they're not. But then same shit both ways, you know, it's just like, but that's not everyone at all. It's a very small group of people. And it's that same thing of being closed off and like not being into something rather than being influenced.
And
by it.
It's outside of action sports too. Like I have a friend that like after 9/11 here, he was like, I want to be New York Fire Department, like a firefighter. And we just naysayed his fucking ass for like a year. He went through paramedic school, naysayed him. You're not gonna fucking move to New York. Became a firefighter. He's literally about to like retire from the fire department in like 5 years. He's like he's been like captain, you know, and it's like
that's crazy.
It's like I've told him so many times. I'm like, I'm sorry. Like I was that guy.
No, he wasn't listening,
I was like,
good.
you know, like, but in the same sense, like, dude, we were friends. We should have supported you more than anything else. And it's like,
as much as I like want to like stop that like try to open people's minds to just appreciate everything, can kind of get inspiration from everything and not like block their vision. To be honest, like I don't think I would be what I am today without those people that doubted me as well. Yeah. Like people that doubted me on a scooter, and then it just made me like work harder, and then riding a bike, and then people like doubting me on a bike and just saying like, I don't know, it kind of helps. Sometimes it fuels the fire. Sometimes it creates like pressure. Sometimes pressure creates dimes. Like sometimes the hate actually definitely fuels my fire. Sometimes I see like a crappy comment and it's like, oh yeah, let's go. Like,
and it might not be something. It might be something that's like always there and always needed, but like people grow. You know, it's different chapters of their lives. You know, because like I said at one point when scooter kids would start coming to the park, I'd be like, fuck. You know? But then eventually it's like you start thinking about it, you change, you learn. And you're like, no, this is cool. You just can't be scared to change. But maybe like the little bit of like the older brother syndrome's good for people.
Yeah, and I understand like people get
But it's
upset
hard to say, I don't
because there is sometimes a lot of scooter kids that don't know what they're doing, and then like a lot of parents just drop their kids off at the skate park and they don't know what they're doing. But is it really like the kids' fault?
No,
it's not the
they
kids'
need
fault.
to be taught. Just like when I went to Claremont and I kept snaking, and I didn't know, and Wong Tran came up to me. He's like, "Yo, like you got to kind of pay attention."
Yeah.
When everyone else was getting pissed at me, and I didn't know,
And
he's like, "Everyone's getting mad, like because you never stop." And I'm like, "Fuck, thanks, dude."
And then the skateboard
It's
was
funny you
awesome.
remember that.
Yeah, because I was really stoked that he was the one guy, and when I knew everyone else was. I could tell after he told me that everyone else was getting super annoyed with how I was riding, but I had no clue.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was turns. I was
Yeah.
like, no one's going, doom. No one's going, doom.
Skateboard kids do the exact same thing, but
Yeah.
the thing is, there's always like more likely there's someone that's like a dad figure at the skate park or someone they look up to that's on a
help them, teach
skateboard,
them.
and they'll say, "Hey, this is what you do. This is why you do it. This is respect and etiquette at the skate park." Whereas a scooter kid just doesn't have that, and then they just live in their little bubble of a world where they drop in without looking left and right, and then they just live in that world until someone stops them and tells them.
Yeah.
Which is hard but it's just how it is. And like the problem is that scooters is honestly like the easiest probably sport to like get just into and try something. Like you can get on a scooter and drop in pretty quick. Whereas skateboard, you like
You got to
it's
stand in
not
the
that
corner
easy,
out of the
right?
way, figure it out. Same with the bike.
Exactly. So scooters just become that avenue where kids can get into it fast and they get hooked on it and they like it. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a bad image for them, for scooters, because overall there's just a lot of beginners that don't know what they're doing, haven't been to the skate park, and they've just discovered something that they really love doing, and they're just at the beginning of their career.
Yeah.
Or like their passion.
Experience. Yeah.
And then. But then skateboarders and young skateboarders and BMXers, they experience the same thing. They just get taught quicker, I feel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to teach, not push away. That's the way. Because if everyone just taught these kids, the skate park would be a better place.
Yeah.
It could be packed, but better. Instead of just being packed like, you're like, fuck,
Yeah.
can't even ride, But if all the scooter kids knew too, and it was a session.
But it's hard. That's a perfect world, and we don't live in a perfect world. But
Because when the scooter kids are 3 and you tell them something, they go, yeah, like that's a difference. Like scooter kids can literally be like 3 years old at
Yeah.
the park with like their
Totally.
Mohawk helmet on and their Skechers. And
Yeah.
it's a different thing than like that 8-year-old BMXer that can actually listen.
Yeah.
Like, scooter kids
That's
are
for
like
sure.
babies sometimes. You can't. They just aren't listening.
Um,
Well, it could be skaters, and usually, but that's it could
They
be
just-
skaters and BMXers that young
Ska-
too. But there's general little tiny scooter kids.
Imagine dropping your kid off at the skate park.
And there's always a dad with this
But
little
yeah,
kid.
I was
like-
gonna say, imagine dropping even a 6-year-old kid on a skateboard at a skate park
Yeah.
by himself. No way.
Yeah, but you see that in the scooter world because like
Yeah,
the parents will just be like in their lawn chairs, like okay,
yeah.
good place
Staring
for-
at their phone.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's different because usually like little skater, little BMXer, the dad or mom
Yeah,
does
it's
it too.
really
So they,
invested, yeah.
they're invested in it. Where the scooter's like, this is great. This is better than daycare. You don't got to pay.
So, who are you riding for? Snafu,
Snafu, Hyper. No, yeah.
No energy drinks.
No energy
you said
drinks
underwear.
anymore.
You said underwear.
Yeah,
earlier.
Nobby. It's like it's actually sick. Nobby is like Sunshine Coast. So where I live, they're actually a company from there, and they ship all over the world. So it's pretty sick. Yeah, and they like make rad undies. They made my own signature undies, and they make
It's like your face.
They invest like a lot. It's like they made actually my land. Like I freaking left my clothes luggage in my.
Whoa.
In my Dale. I left my clothes luggage in my room packed, and I walked out without it. Because usually I have 2 bags on my flights, but I only had one. So I packed my bike bag. I packed my bike into my clothes bag, and then I made like a little like carry on for my clothes. And I don't usually do that. So I just like walked out with my backpack and camera, and then my bike bag in my clothes bag. And I just didn't bring any clothes.
Shit.
Here right now.
Yeah,
Oh,
let's
hell
go.
yeah.
But I went and did the thing in Thunder City, like halftime show for Hyper, and they brought me some clothes.
Hell yeah.
And then I went and bought some clothes as well. Bought some clothes from Vans. So
Hell yeah.
shout out to Colin. He always hooks me up with shoes, but I didn't want to hassle him for like some clothes.
Yeah.
Hey man, can you give me some clothes?
Probably would.
Yeah, maybe.
Anything else? I mean, you guys gonna go ride the ramps? You any plans?
I don't know if I'm going to be able to do a power hour after this.
Oh, you're gonna power hour.
No. No, I'm saying no. I'm not going to be able to do a power hour after this.
Nah, I think
kinda
we're
wanna
just gonna
come.
cruise them. You gotta get back up to.
Yeah,
your
I
area,
have
like,
Nitro Circus is doing like some sort of business, like what do you call it when like your whole business, like everyone in it just do an event to that, like do like something together. They're doing an escape room. I've never done an escape room before, and they're doing like a business thing, like to create relations or whatever. Like,
Okay.
I don't know what it's called. Do you do that? Do you have a
brainstorming?
No, yeah.
thing?
Dennis and I meet up, and I just eat shit.
You talked about that. What actually happened?
I just can't jump on a rail, apparently.
When was the last time you ate shit real bad?
Good one. Like a real slam. Probably during COVID, like in the middle of that time.
Oh yeah,
like,
just to add like injury
got
to
knocked the fuck out.
COVID.
Yeah. Couple times actually.
I feel like that's one thing that people don't talk about in BMX or like in action sports is that you become like a professional crasher. Like, and if you become a professional crasher, then you can keep trying the trick. Like if you know how to fall, and I think that people don't realize that with experience, you learn how to like fall over. You know, like I'm about to eat shit. All right, this is what I do. And then you can get back.
I never learned.
You never learned.
I never learned. Like my strategy was always like the drunk driver. You know, and
I'll just go limp.
Limp. I literally usually I'll just go limp if I'm like ragdolling, so I'm not like fighting
after
anything.
You've been knocked out, or
no, before the knockout.
That would be actually kind of
like,
funny to see someone if you caught that on footage, like you're falling, you're just like trying to do like a double peg or whatever,
I mean, that happened.
and
It
you're
was
like
on
about
his
to crash,
channel,
and you're like not even going to crash that bad, but you just go limp.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what he did, but it kind of just couldn't really get out of it in time, so
Yeah.
he just had to kind of.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
But yeah, I mean, that's literally with my kid is like, I want him to do one thing, and that's go to gymnastics and just learn how to tumble and learn how to like learn how to fall, dude, because this shit hurts.
Falling
Like,
People always thought
yeah.
that I did gymnastics, but I've never done any sort of gymnastics in my life.
I almost asked that because I feel like, but then you said the flip off the chair, and then you said you guys didn't have much money. I was like, he didn't do gymnastics. Like, I knew that answer. But your air awareness has to be like.
I definitely know more air awareness on my bike though than my
Yeah.
just on a trampoline. I can do some stuff, but like not like on
That'd
a
be
bike.
that'd be like a sick video, like for Nitro or something like that. They like take you to some sort of like gymnastics camp and have you like get a coach, and then you just can do everything right away because your air awareness is like like off the charts. But
I'm about to wee myself. Let's
go for it. Yeah, you started dancing.
I know.
I'm about to do my third one.
Yeah. What's your let's end with like your highlight, like when you have grandkids. And they're like, tell us a story, RWilly. And you're like,
grandkids will call him RWilly.
Yeah,
imagine that.
Tell us a story, Grandpa Willie.
That kind of be a trip. That's why I do think about that. Like when I have kids or anyone that's like prolific on YouTube, they can kind of like. There's nowhere I can go on and see like both my grandparents are both my grandpas. You call them? I call them pops.
Yeah.
But they're both passed away, and it would be so crazy to be able to like watch their 500 videos of them on YouTube. You know?
Tells a story. You're like, start at episode 1 and there's 1,500.
Yeah.
You can see pretty much a week.
But
one day
do you
week.
actually have 3 weeks straight?
Yeah,
that's
of
how
just
much
footage
meat you
online to be able to watch. So that's
3 weeks. Yeah, I guess you can break it down to the hourly.
Yeah.
But okay. I don't know. I think that the turning point in my life was kind of like getting on Nitro and just being able to. The best thing was being able to just show people what you can do on a scooter, and like kind of like just changing the mindset, because I knew I like grew up with a lot of people like just bagging me out, teasing me for riding a scooter and like my looks and stuff, and then just being able to like.
You said that a couple of times.
Yeah,
it's like,
I know.
Yeah.
What I look, I don't.
I mean,
I think I've aged like fine wine, but anyway.
Yeah.
Not as much as Dennis though.
Yeah.
Did you used to have a goofy look or something?
Yeah, probably. Before I smashed my teeth out, they were a bit different. But
did you have like messed up teeth? What?
Maybe I was just maybe it was to do with my confidence level. I think that scootering gave me and BMX has given me like a lot more confidence in my life, and I hope it does for other people. But I think just doing Nitro Circus and like that moment of when I high-fived Travis, did my world's first double front flip on scooter at Nitro, and just kind of got onto Nitro Circus, and then was able to show thousands of people at every show like what you could do, what my potential was, and what I could give to action sports. I feel like that's kind of my biggest moment. And then I don't know, just being on X Games, maybe that third X Games gold medal, like that one, just kind of just feels really good to be able to. You know, everyone has like they're like, you're not good enough till you do this, and then to go just like, I feel like that moment I reached a point in my life where okay, like this was my ultimate goal was to go to X Games. Ultimate goal, just go to X Games, have like compete at X Games for like just to be there.
Yeah.
And then I done that, and then I managed to win like an X Games gold medal, and that was like my
3
ultimate
times in
goal.
a row now.
Yeah, that was my ultimate goal of my life. Like when I first started action sports, and then I got to that level, and I did it. And to be honest, like you reach the level, and nothing really changed that much in the way I thought. I just felt like, okay, now people can bag me, people can like call me names or like say whatever they want, but I'm just like super happy with who I am in my life, and I'm just like going through life, just having as much fun as I can and hanging out with my mates, trying to progress action sports as much as I can, and just like allow people around me to reach that level. Because I feel so blessed to be able to get the opportunity to even shine. So like I feel like that's the one thing that I've been lucky enough to get more than other people, is like the spotlight to do my best. And because I got to do my best and I did well under pressure, it's kind of got me to this point. And now I feel like, well, who around me, how can I give the limelight that I have to the people around me, so that maybe one day they can reach this point in their life that I feel, when I just feel so like happy with who I am, happy with what I'm doing, and just ready to just keep like seeing how long this goes for. And then once it is done, just be able to look back and say, hey, I did my best, and I gave the people around me the opportunity to do their best, and hey, look what they're doing now. And as long as I can do that, I think that's all I'm really focused on now, is just doing my best and giving the people around me opportunity to do their best, and just like pushing action sports as much as I can.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
I mean, dude, be proud. Like,
I'm stoked. I'm super proud.
Like,
And I think
dude,
you have a
you're-
lot more accomplishments ahead of you.
Yeah.
Thank
Like,
you.
Your goal was to make it to X Games. You know,
Yeah.
now that looks like a little kid goal to you. You
Yeah.
won 3 in a row.
See how
so-
many we can stack up. I got
Yeah.
5. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5.
5 now.
Yeah,
Wow.
5 medal, 4 gold, 1 silver.
Wow.
Let's go. And then we got
Congratulations.
Japan. We'll see what I can do. Park best trick. I don't know.
You'll
Park
find,
best
you'll
trick
find
ain't,
something.
it ain't my strong point, but I got a few tricks. It's just sometimes hard to like do some tricks in park
Yeah, of
that
course.
can be first
Yeah.
try.
And it's like on a there's probably not like the biggest jump. You
No,
have to find
but there's some
something.
things I could show you some things that you
I'm sure.
yeah, I
Alright.
can do.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you for coming, dude.
Yeah,
This is a
thank
long
you.
time coming. We literally first started talking about a podcast at X Games China.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I
literally
remember.
brought the gear and there was no time to do it.
Yeah.
So it was
and I think we're going to try to do the last like triples around then,
Yeah.
but we're just super busy. But
so yeah,
here we
shout
are.
out to Shane at Hyper for hooking
Yeah.
this up, because he's the one that started the group message. He's the one that got you picked up a car for you to drive down.
Yep.
So
Hired my
shout
car
out
out,
to
thank you.
shout out to Hyper and Snafu for supporting you.
Shout out to Nobby.
Shout out to
Nitro Circus.
Shout out to Nitro Circus.
Shout out to
for-
Travis Pastrana.
Yeah.
Shout out to everyone in BMX that like has allowed me to feel a part of BMX as well. I think that's a huge thing to me, because like obviously I was riding the scooter and there was a few people that are weird about it, but I feel like there was just 99% of people that were just like super cool,
Yeah,
super chill,
yeah.
and super like accepting of me, even though like I came from scooting, which is doesn't mean anything. And shout out to them for like sticking up for me, and
fuck
shout out to you guys
fuck
for
the
like,
rest of you,
yeah,
basically.
no, fuck. I love you too, but it's all right. If you
Nah,
still hate me, that's all right.
Don't let the
I love
1%
yous.
ruin you on that
Nah, it
stuff.
doesn't,
You
it
know,
doesn't.
like, so
I
there's
love
always
yous.
somebody.
I love everyone
Great
in BMX.
example of pushing through people trying to put you down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
and
like,
it's always
look
going to
where you're at
happen to
now.
everyone.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
if you're at home and you're feeling that kind of thing from people, just know, unfortunately, it's probably not going to ever. It's not going to ever like. There's always going to be someone that's going to put you down, but. You
Don't
can,
take it.
Nah,
Don't
don't
take
take it.
their
You're strong
poison.
enough. You're your own person. You just be confident, and those people will wither away, and you'll be stronger.
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
You the man.
Let's
Thank
go.
you.
Thanks, dude. Hell yeah.
Thank you. Unclick later. Dope.
Dude, we can't do one under 3 hours anymore.
Another 3 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.